Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is TWitWoW in review. This is number 4 already. I am very excited about this one, which it's funny because I'm actually more underprepared for this one than usual. I didn't even watch SmackDown clips this week. Fair enough, not a problem, man. So our fifth one, but just to reprise what I was saying, I am excited for this one, but it's odd because I'm more underprepared for this one than usual. I didn't even get to watch SmackDown clips this week on YouTube, so I'm kind of going in this very ignorant, very aloof about the product. But I will say the things that I want to talk about most, really, I want to talk about Stardom a lot this week because I have a lot of thoughts coming out of Tag League, and you and I watched courtesy of Dana, which I again encourage everybody that's a Stardom fan to follow her on Twitter at It's Dana Now, and her blog, which will be on her Twitter page, where she does Stardom translations. Because we watched the New Blood conference last night, and some really good stuff come out of that, particularly Lady C. So I would like to talk a bit about that this week. We know that ROH Final Battle just got through a little bit ago, and I know you were kind of giving me some results from that were interesting. And I saw highlights from a Rampage match between John Moxley and Konosuke Takeshita that I would like to just comment on briefly, when it's appropriate. So, yeah, that's just kind of what I know of this week. How did you feel about this week in the world of wrestling?
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you brought up the Moxley Takeshita match because that's a match that I was aware of but not overly interested in. So I'm hoping that you can provide commentary for that because I didn't bother to seek it out at all. But that being said, I do know pretty much everything that happened at ROH Final Battle. Not everything, there might have been some storyline stuff that happened that I'm not aware of, but I do know like what titles changed hands and stuff like that. And I did watch the final few minutes of the main event, so that was fun. And yeah, I know that you're excited to talk Stardom because of story stuff and that kind of thing. So John, if you're ready, we can get on into this thing.
Brother, well, I don't want to be a hog, right? I mean, Final Battle did get done. If you feel like there's anything noteworthy to talk about with that, I can wait on the Stardom talk unless you're just down to talk about
Listen,
Stardom.
man, there
So,
there will never be a time that we are here that I don't want you to talk about your shit first.
okay, well, I'm going to remember that in all future episodes so that we don't have to keep having these interactions, even though they are pleasant. You're beautiful.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, look,
let
here's the thing. If I ever come up here and I am like enthusiastic, like, bro, I can't fucking wait to tell you about this thing that I watched this week, then you'll know. But
yeah,
unless that happens or until that happens, it's all about everything. It's everything, including you. You are like you're half of this thing too. You're not 30%. You're not 20%. You're not 40%. You're not even 49%. You're 50% of this thing.
it looks good on you. But I will
What looks
say,
good on me?
Tranquilo, because you seem very
Ah,
relaxed right now.
yeah.
Very relaxed right now. But no, man, I gotta say, so I didn't like Tag League. That was obvious from our reactions. I really didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't care for how the tournament was structured. I know you were there with me, but personally, what I love about the series is yes, we talk about the whole week, and yes, we talk about things that we don't like. And really, the only notes I have for Stardom is look at the 5-star, watch the 5-star that you literally just did, and then copy paste that and kind of have a similar structure for your tag league. Make it a bit more unpredictable. Even though, to be fair, we knew Julia was winning, but at least the journey was fun. That's the thing too. You don't even necessarily have to be unpredictable. You can be predictable if the journey is fun. And I just didn't feel like the journey was all that entertaining. But then again, I like Julia, and I just don't like 7 Up, so maybe it was just doomed from the start. But all that is to say, I think the big story coming out of this is Stars. And Stars has really been interesting me at the moment because I had plugged Dana just a little bit ago. Let me pull up her Twitter. I want to read something that she tweeted
Okay.
that I found very interesting. I hope
Interested.
this doesn't take too long, everyone, because I hate holding up time. Oh, actually, no, it didn't at all. Okay, so this is kind of her internal monologue, and it includes comments from Koguma, which was interesting. Dana says, "Me, the Komomo Mayu stuff could lead somewhere really interesting, but it's not like serious. Like it's not a problem for stars or anything." Koguma, stars are running the same as always, so I'm not worried about anything at all. Me, oh god, oh no, stars are fucked. And like, yeah, right? Because like we've seen this many times with factions where like a member could think that everything's fine, and that's kind of the telegraph of actually no, things aren't fine. Like, hide your kids, hide your wives, this faction you love is gonna go to shit. um but see, the funny thing is, and this is where like I didn't want, and I wanted to continue this conversation from Discord because we had a great time on Discord on Friday. Anybody that's not a part of our Discord, $3 a month, please check it out. I think it's a great community. I didn't want to upset Javaris. I love Javaris. I don't know if he's going to join us later. If he listens back to this, he knows I got nothing but love for him. He knows that. So I wasn't trying to rile him up when I was like, why does it anger you when people talk about Mayu a certain way? And I think what resulted from that was a really productive conversation. But I think why I'm so stuck on it is precisely because I like Mayu and she's so amazing at what she does. And I personally am fascinated by Mayu potentially as a heel. Although, let me get ahead of myself and say I don't think that's what's happening here.
Right.
Like honestly, bro, I think it's time you and I really talk about it. If for no other reason, maybe to prepare ourselves for when the day comes. It wasn't that long ago you had shared with me an interview that both Mayu and Tam had done, I guess separate interviews, and they both said that like it wasn't going to be much longer until they retired.
Right.
And I have to wonder if this kind of shakeup with Mayu kind of questioning Komomo or otherwise known as Kogo, Momo Kogo,
Right.
and Koguma's comments here, do you think it's all kind of just like a constellation of like the same thing? Do you think this is all interconnected? Do you think it's just coincidental that I'm thinking about one thing and then like the other? What do you think is going on with stars? I want to get in your headspace about this.
Yeah, it's interesting because on one hand, there's very obviously at least some level of tension between Mayu and Kogo because we literally saw her like pie face her and then spin kick her twice basically after Mayu won a match for the team after Momokogo kept on losing for the team. So there's obviously some level of tension, but I am not as like ringing the alarms as you are right now. Maybe it's
Interesting.
because I'm a
Yeah.
little slow on the uptake as far as these things go, and I will admit that I have a history of not really catching one of these things. But I think on the other hand, you also have a little bit of a history of jumping to conclusions on storylines like this before they are really
Oh,
showing
100%.
everything.
100%. I
So
can own that
I
unequivocally
think
here. That is not,
we're
yeah.
both not necessarily in perfectly objective positions to be like, no, this is exactly what's happening, and you'll see it play out over the course of the next few months. So
Right.
I'm on one side of the fence, you're on the other. I think that we need we need something because here's the thing: Mayu is teaming with Kogo again for the Triangle tournament.
Yes. Yes, and that's very interesting to
So
me.
I think we're if anything is going to happen, it's going to be a development that comes out of that because we already know that Mayu is at her wits end with Kogo just because Kogo can't pick up a dub to save her life. And it's sad because Kogo's fucking excellent and like if you were to rank the Stardom women as far as power level goes, she would be not quite at, but definitely near the bottom. But then if you were to rank Stardom women in order of like actual ability in the ring, she'd be more along the lines of like middle of the pack. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So she is like, if you were to do those two ranking systems and then make a third list where you're ranking the difference between how they're booked and how talented they are, Momo would actually be near the top of that list because she is far more talented than she is booked. It's like her and Starlight Kid, I would argue, and Lady C and Azumi. It's like the people who are far more talented than the level that they're booked at. And I think that Kogo is in that conversation for sure. Um, but I don't know if this is really leading to something big like Kogo being ousted from stars or Mayu betraying Stars or anything along those lines. But that doesn't mean that it can't be. I'm not saying that it can't be. I'm just saying I don't necessarily think it 100% is. So in my opinion, it's too early in the story to really say one way or the other. Whereas you're fully in, like, let's fucking go, something's happening.
Well, let's okay. I think that's a very respectable position you've taken, and certainly a very understandable one. So how about we scale back the stakes just a bit, right? Maybe we don't think about cataclysms or implosions or anything like that. Let's kind of make it more, for lack of a better term, microcosmic.
Okay.
And let's say that this is more about Momo Kogo. Now, I think something that's far more sober to say, in my opinion, I submit it to you for your consideration, is that this could be a Kogo character evolution. Not in the sense that she's going to shed everything that makes her Kogo and then be something completely different. But you could see in like those post-match comments again, because I shared with you Dana's blog about the tag league post-match comments, where Mayu really tears into her. And she even says, which I appreciated this. I appreciated this because it gave context, because I know you and I were a bit befuddled. Like, why isn't Hazuki in the trios team with Kogo for the Triangle Derby?
Yeah.
And Mayu says, like, Hazuki gave up on Kogo. Now, that's harsh. But then Kogo says, like, this tag league did mean a lot to me. I really did want to show something, but Mayu's given me a lot to think about. So maybe instead of me getting all energized and wild, because I love Stardom, and Stardom really does reinvigorate my passion for possibility. Being more grounded, it definitely does seem like though this is Kogo's story. And I'm wondering where it's going to go. And I got to say, too, I really love, just on a more general level, I really love that she's getting this kind of story because, I know we worry about like the My Sakurai's, for instance, really being pushed. And like, don't get me wrong, she's still in a pretty significant spotlight. I think we practically see her on every show that Stardom does.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it does seem like they've cooled down on her a bit. I don't want to like overestimate it. But yeah, I don't know. It seems like she's kind of in this rhythm right now where she's doing the tag matches or like the mid-card type matches. She's not really involved in any kind of major story to me right now, whereas Kogo now is kind of in this story where she's got to prove herself to Stars and really mainly to Mayu, because we had that whole discussion again in the Discord where like Stars is just Mayu and her friends, but I don't think she sees Kogo that way. And if you're not my friend, then you've got to legitimize yourself in this group another way. And so if this is about Kogo evolving as a performer, and more generally as a character, I find that very interesting because, like you just got done really giving Kogo her credit. I agree with you. I think she's excellent in the ring. I enjoy her matches. She's got that quality in her, maybe because of her look or what have you, that like I root for her as a match progresses and she
Right.
kind of stays in the fight. They kind of beat that out of me with Waka Tsukiyama because I just don't feel like it's gonna happen.
Right.
But with Kogo, I'm always thinking like, are you going to get the big wins? So no, I think what you're saying makes perfect sense. But I also think that it's far more sober and far more grounded to say that maybe beyond an implosion of stars or whatever, this really is just a Kogo story that's going to push her up the card, which is really exciting to think about.
Yeah. All right. So do we want to kind of talk about something a little bit more on the standard side, like a WWE thing or an AEW thing, or is there more that you wanted to talk about as far as Stardom goes?
I mean, as far as stardom goes, since we're already kind of in this rhythm, I don't want to linger too long. But guys, if you haven't, again, check out Dana's blog. Pull up the New
The
Blood
name
press
of Dana's
conference
blog, by the
comments.
way, is shit. Where did I put it? There it is. Shine Today, Believe Tomorrow. So it's shinetodayBelieveTomorrow.home.blog.
Excellent. Excellent. Check that out, guys. Pull up the New Blood press conference. And if you watch nothing else from it, listen to Lady C's promo. She cut
Oh, it's so.
a.
I actually added it to my awards list for honorable mention for promo of the year. It was so fucking good.
And I just got to say something because, like, you and I feel like have been taken up for Lady C for a while now because you and
Yeah.
I are just a bit perplexed. Like, she's got the look, she's got all this stuff. And now she just confirmed to me that she's got the promo chops, at least when the occasion calls for it.
Yeah.
And it's funny, dude, because and I'm not trying to go after this person. That's not what this is. I did see somebody random on Twitter. Even if I knew the name, I wouldn't share it. I know how toxic this community is. But they're like, am I the only one that thinks like Lady C is mid? And I don't fault them for that view. People are gonna like what they like, but I'm like, I wonder if, at least as it relates to stardom, there are certain perceptions of wrestlers that stick just because you don't get to see the full range of what they can do. Like I wanted to have a discussion with Ashton on a future TwitWoW interview, and we're kind of having it now, so I'm just going to shelve it for now. But like, what I would like to see Stardom just as a company change, and we've already talked about Stardom World and modernizing that. But one thing I would do, I miss pre-match promos so much, and even
Dude, I
beyond pre-match
know.
promos if they were still doing them. I want these women to have more time to talk because I'm
Yes.
I'm telling you,
It helps
give
them
these
get
women time.
over.
Yeah, it does. It does. It just. I mean, look, man, you added it to your honorable mention. So, what really stuck out to you on the Lady C promo? If
Her
you can kind of talk
passion,
about that
her
a bit.
passion,
Yeah.
and like this idea that she's talking to this fucking old head. They literally got the match to be titled a passion injection match, and of course, you know that it's supposed to be Lady C getting the passion injected into her, and she showed that she doesn't fucking need an injection because she has all the passion that she could possibly need, and she was like talking about this fucking old head that came around, and she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna show you what passion is," and she's just like, "Girl, you didn't even fucking notice me the first time we interacted. You don't know who the fuck I am, and now you're trying to inject passion in me. That just proves how little you know me." And then she showed how passionate she was. I thought it was an excellent promo. I feel like it was so layered and so many like, so much depth to her promo. It was really wonderful. I really loved it.
And I don't know if I want to go here right now because I know it's like a nuanced and complex topic whenever you talk about the culture of anything, whether it's the culture, politics, Hollywood, whatever. But we've seen with Lady C too, like on Twitter, because I know you would always bring this to my attention, like how she would try and like not necessarily get in shape. I don't mean it that way, but like change her body type, like change her aesthetic, whether it was like toning up or what, or putting on weight.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
Lady C, the whole thing was she wanted to gain weight so that she would come off as more of a monster, basically.
yeah, and now you've got like this injecting passion match, and I have to wonder if like there's something going on backstage where maybe the creative minds or Rossi or just whoever,
Yeah.
right, is just looking at Lady C and they're questioning her, and it's like that always worries me. Again, we've already talked before, and I don't want to beat a dead horse
Mm-hmm.
about how Japan kind of out capitalism's US's capitalism. Just
Yeah.
their work culture is
Yeah.
wild,
Toxic as
and
fuck. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And again, we're not sociologists, so I'm not going to belabor that point.
We do have
But
one though. We do have one. Galatea is a sociologist.
that is true. That is true. I wish she was in attendance right now. Um, Especially because we are talking stardom, which is all thanks to her.
Yeah.
But I just hope that Lady C isn't emblematic of any cultural issues in stardom
Mm-hmm.
and the locker room and whatever, because I do worry. I mean, between like, oh, I want to like, it's one thing if she had the idea herself, and I'm not denying the possibility that she could have, and if she did, fine. But I don't know if somebody would have looked at her and been like, if you really want to come off as a monster, you should put on a few pounds, because I think there's a qualitative difference there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then obviously the injecting passion match, just that title, it almost seems like, what, you don't think Lady C has passion? Like, you don't think she cares about this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It does show me a little bit of smoke, and I don't want to think that there's a fire there, but when there's smoke, there's fire. So I don't know. But I'm curious how the match will go, and I hope Nane isn't like selfish. And part of me even thinks she won't. I know, I know, I know. But like, I feel like Lady C kind of embodies what Nane thinks a pro wrestler should be to a degree.
Yes.
So I feel like she'll be a bit more giving than she
There's a
normally would be in a
chance.
match.
There's a chance.
Yeah. So, yeah, if there's anything else you want to say about that, I guess we could get into our more standard discussions about WWE and stuff. But I just thought Stardom, very interesting things have been happening, so I wanted to kind of give that
Oh yeah,
more
and
time.
I fully appreciate that because you're absolutely right. It is really interesting. They're doing some very different stuff that we're not really used to seeing from them. Um, Tag League. I mean, really, the biggest thing that we're not used to seeing from them is them doing something disappointing, and Tag League was definitely very disappointing, and I think we both agree on that.
Yes. Oh,
So,
absolutely. No
yeah.
doubt.
Let's see. I don't think I have anything to add, so I think we can move on. What do you want to talk about outside of Stardom, as far as stuff that maybe might appeal to a wider audience that more people will be
Yes,
aware of?
yes, and not our niche audience of like 4 people.
Yeah.
Um, um, well, let's see here with WWE. I mean, we've still got Sammy Uso again. I did not see any SmackDown clips this week. I'm actually going to go on WWE's YouTube channel and kind of, you know, take a glance at what all I missed. But with Raw, I mean, Theory's still a U.S. champion. Cool,
Oh
I
yeah,
guess.
but Ali had a shot at him, and Dolph Ziggler cost him that shot by attacking Theory.
That's right. I did see that. I did actually see that. I'm just going to say this right now and get ahead of this. That needs to be Ali's WrestleMania moment is winning the fucking US title. Like
That would be
if you're not
nice, but man,
yeah.
you're really giving them a lot of credit for that.
No, I mean well it's not giving him a lot of credit. I'm saying that's what should happen. What do I think's gonna
Oh,
happen? They're
true.
just
Yeah,
gonna
good
forget
point.
that Ali even wants the title and
Yeah,
it's not gonna go well for him.
right.
But yeah, I think that's what should happen. I think it's a quintessential babyface story. A babyface has a dream and ambition, and they chase it and they chase it and they chase it, and they get it at just the best time, that being WrestleMania.
Right.
Um, and if that doesn't happen, which again, there's like I would say upwards of 90% chance at this fucking company that it doesn't. I have to say for the umpteenth fucking time that Ali like I'm sorry, I'm not trying to start anything. I swear, like I'm a good egg today. I'm very in control today. He's so much better to me than Ricochet is, and like Ricochet seems to be getting a bigger push. And I'm like, Ali can do amazing jaw dropping stuff. Maybe not to the extent of Ricochet. I think Ricochet may slightly edge him out in the ring. That's up for debate. But my God, does he beat the man in fucking spades on personality and promos? And I thought that's what wrestling was mainly about. Um, I love this dude. I want him to get a bigger platform. I want him to be able to do the promos that he does, like in a ring with
Online.
an
Yeah.
actual audience,
Yeah.
getting those emotions in real time. It's yeah, God, it's frustrating. It's so frustrating to me. But again, this could lead to a bigger WrestleMania story, but WrestleMania is still a ways away, and God knows the memory of that company. Even with Triple H in charge, I'm still a bit sus on it. So we'll have to
Same,
see.
bro. Same.
Yeah, yeah. Goddamn. Um, so yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I mean, you kind of brought that up. Let me ask you. You're an intelligent guy. Why is Ziggler still a thing? Why is that
Bro,
still
I
happening?
literally was going to ask you the exact same question. We were talking about it briefly in wrestling discussion right before you and I went live here. And someone said something about, oh yeah, it was DBK. He said, I mean, Ziggler's just here to do the job and make everybody look good. And all I could think of was, yeah, you say that, but he's literally a former NXT champion, and that's what most of us thought then, too.
Yeah.
Oof.
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 I didn't think
God
you'd keep
damn.
going, but I kind of love that you
Alright.
did.
So what else on Raw, huh?
What else on Raw? You gonna make me pull up WrestleZone, bruh?
I mean, I don't want you to have to work on a shitty ass product, so if you don't want to, that's fine.
Let me see here. Oh yeah, Alexa Bliss and Bailey won their respective triple threat matches, and they'll be facing each other on Monday to determine the
That's
number
what
one
I
contender.
suppressed.
Yeah, to determine the number one
Yeah.
contender for Bianca's championship.
Yeah, yeah. And you know what was so great about that for me? Um Alexa did like WWE.com, so one of those like backstage extra promos that they do after every show that gets uploaded to YouTube.
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, lately I found this new aggression." And like very clearly that's teasing like the Wyatt stuff that's been
Oh
around
my
her.
god.
And yeah, I
Hate
hate
it?
it so much. I hate it
Yeah,
so
we
much.
said it at the
Yeah.
same time almost.
God, guys, I have a noise gate operating on my microphone, so you'll probably never hear any of my squeals, but I just did, and it was a squee of pain, and I wanna recede it myself and maybe die. I don't know. I
Oh,
haven't really decided yet.
I'm so
It's
sorry.
dude, the funny fucking thing, like I don't even necessarily hate that she's getting this shot. I mean, I do think again it's kind of a signal of women's wrestling can always be better in WWE than what it is. That's why I always want to like. I know I could be hyperbolic, so it's hilarious that I'm the one of all fucking people saying this. But I never want to give WWE too much credit.
Right.
You know, I was just telling Ashton actually, guys, that my favorite movie ever, Whiplash, is free on YouTube. And I'm saying that for no reason, not that I'm trying to open it up to a new audience. But like there's a there's a line in that movie from Fletcher, the asshole music teacher that's totally not goals whatsoever to my sick ass. It's like, you know, the two worst words in the
English
English
language.
language are good job. And I never want to give that to WWE, really ever, because they're a what is it, million at least?
Billion. Oh,
Multi-million at
believe
least.
me, it's multi-billion.
A multi-billion dollar corporation, and you can do better. And why you're not hiring more women, and instead you're like, what do we got in inventory? Oh, Bliss hasn't had a title shot in a while. Let's give it to her. Eh, eh. You know, like, I'm not gonna rant and rave. I actually liked how I composed myself on Q&A, so I'm gonna try mature, just really not giving a fuck about you, John, for a little bit. And yeah, I'm really not WWE giving a fuck about you, like, at all. So good for Bianca, I guess. Easy dub. And honestly, for Bailey, I feel for her. I feel like they're treating Bailey. And it's so weird because this should be a compliment, but it's not. They're treating Bailey like she was a Trish Stratus or a Lita, like somebody that's already solidified their legend status. So they've got nothing else to do. So we could just, you know, job them out to
Wait,
everybody else
are you
and get them
telling me
over.
that they're treating Bailey right now on Raw the way that they treated Dakota Kai in NXT?
Yeah, exactly. Honestly,
Holy shit.
exactly.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So that's pretty bad, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, it is.
like as a Bailey fan like myself, I know you are. Mark definitely is. I feel for that fucking man. I haven't even made fun of the fact that he does math anymore because Raw has just been giving it to him so bad. All I want to do is hug the fucking dude.
Yeah.
She still has to main event a WrestleMania, and as I said on a recent podcast, that goal has never felt further away. It's like
Oh
I can
no.
hear us being laughed at right now for even having the dream. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I'd like, yeah, she's doing the program with Becky, which is cool. Which honestly, if we're, do I even want to talk about this? Actually, we'll
I
table that.
think
There's
you
something I do want to,
do want to talk
yeah,
about this, is what I was going to say, but then you were saying you didn't, so.
no. We're tabling because there's something I do want to talk about as it relates to the women, but because it's like kind of ambiguous, I feel like we should save it for later because it
Okay.
might be a nothing burger. But I'm still interested, and that's
Gotcha.
what this whole series is about.
Okay.
Just what we're interested in the week.
Alrighty.
So anyway, Becky Bailey,
Mm-hmm.
fine, I guess. Fuck. Ashton, fix this. Fix it.
Oh my god, you stole my line from me.
Yeah, and I'm using it on you. Look, you're big brained. You fix this, okay?
Don't
I've
call
seen
me
you do
big
things.
brain. That's not even necessarily true.
Okay, first of all, sir, I don't appreciate the apprehensive tone of you tiptoeing away from responsibility. Second of all, this is not going to be good for Bailey, so we need to fix it. You need to get the script and you need to rewrite it. Is he doing it? He's doing it. Javaris, like, bro, all the losses and continued title shots have turned me off. But see, Javaris, like, I've had this kind of discussion with you before. I feel like that really, not on your part, but it shows how powerful a company is because even you can admit that that's not Bailey's fault, like, at all. Bailey's just clocking in and clocking out the same way you do or anybody does at a job. And it really says a lot about a company's power where it's like, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this person that honestly works harder than just about anybody and worked her fucking ass off during a pandemic to make compelling television. And we're going to make them all turn on her because she's like overexposed in a negative and weak sense. And that really sucks. And I hate that but I understand it though, dude. I understand it because I love Bray, but I can tell you if Bliss is going to associate with him, it's going to make me like everything even less. And that's not his fault. So I hate that we give a company that much fucking power because it's really honestly not fair. It's honestly kind of ass. But yeah, I mean, Ash, I know I was kind of joking with you earlier, but in all seriousness, like, I guess the serious question I would ask you is, how do we get Bailey back on track? I'm assuming the most immediate thing would be her just winning the feud with Becky, right? In your mind.
I feel like that's 100% necessary, and yet there's still a part of me that thinks it might not happen.
Yeah, no, I understand that completely. I wish I could joke, but no, I think your concern is 100% valid.
Yeah, because to me,
Um,
the way that they have done Bailey, the way that she has just completely bent the knee to Bianca at this point, I feel like you have to do some level of rehabilitation with her credibility. And the best way to do it is to just have her beat the next strongest person on the roster, which is Becky, to prove that like she belongs in that conversation. She is at that power level, but I just can't shake this feeling that they're not going to do that with her.
yeah, I have the same pessimism as you, man. And then like my question is, because it goes back again, and I hate to give this man credit for anything, but it goes back again to that Punk Brock conundrum during their feud. It's like you're having me lose, but I'm the one that's going to be here tomorrow. Now I don't know how long this run of Becky's is going to be. And to make no mistake about it, this is not me trying to have sour grapes with Becky personally.
Right.
She's earned whatever time she gets off. I mean, she has done more for I think the women's division just in terms of her mainstream appeal alone
Yeah.
than most. I mean, look how long Charlotte's been gone. I feel like Becky's entitled to that kind of vacation, right?
Yeah.
Although I think Charlotte, I don't know if she's dealing with an injury or what, but you get my point.
I know
But
one
like,
thing about
if
Charlotte. I don't fucking miss her.
I don't either, and I only keep bringing her up just to prepare my body because I know it's coming, dude. I know it's coming, and I'm like just trying to get
She had
ahead
a
of it.
conversation with Asuka on Instagram the other day, actually.
Oh God, no! Because Asuka was what I wanted to talk about, given her weird ass tweets and everything.
Yeah.
Because she's really like she's teased the whole Kana clown, demon clown gimmick before.
Yup.
She's pushing it harder than I've ever seen her,
Yeah.
and that's the only reason I'm kind of arching an eyebrow. But
Yeah.
no, no, dude, I even said it's so funny. It all kind of has a confluence to me because I even said, look, you've got Becky. If Asuka, and I guess we'll just transition into this because this is what I wanted to talk about. If Asuka does finally get to do this character, which I want to say, I think if you give Asuka any creative control on anything, she's earned it for this. If this is what she wants to do, if she goes to Hunter and she's like, "Hey, I've put women over. I've been the workhorse, pandemic, everything. You said I get one thing, one creative thing. I want it to be this. This is why you guys signed me in the first place. Let me do this." He's like, "Sure." I think Becky should be her WrestleMania opponent. I think Becky versus that Asuka would kick
That
fucking
would be
ass.
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, dude, with their history, the video package you can make, the WrestleMania entrance you could give for that Asuka, oh my God, dude. Oh my, I mean, that would be front page news. I mean, you're
Right.
talking about the women, they get the ESPN articles sometimes, they get like the news articles based on wherever WrestleMania is hosted. If you give it, and the only reason I said no, and I could feel in my body my organs wanting to leave, if you give it to fucking Charlotte, because I know we're kind of ragging on Triple H now that he's in a creative role. Let me tell you the biggest problem to me with Charlotte, besides everything. I'm going to get ahead of that too.
Gotcha.
Triple H tells the
I'm glad you
story when he was feuding
specified,
with Mick
honestly.
Foley. Yeah, no, I got you. I got you. Triple H tells the story when he was feuding with Mick Foley, and Foley takes off the Mankind gear and he shows the Cactus Jack gear that he could have easily like laughed in his face, like, "Oh, you changed your shirt, that's it," and buried the whole fucking thing. And instead he sold it like, "Oh my God, my deepest, darkest nightmares have come to life." Charlotte can't do that
No.
to me.
No.
Charlotte doesn't have that awareness to me. So Asuka would come out, she'd spit blood, she'd have the whole grandeur. We'd sell it because I'd be losing my fucking mind. She would just look totally unbothered. Okay, yeah, but what does that have to do with me?
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck you. Like, so
It's
hard.
really, really funny how sad it is.
But like Becky, at the very least would give this look of concern, like, Asuka back fist, and then you fucking do the fucking match, and it's amazing. So no, Charlotte doesn't get to do this because then she would do her bullshit where she would win, and then she would go on Twitter and she would have a nice tweet about Asuka, like, "Oh, we had an amazing wrestling match, women supporting women. Thanks, Queen. Fuck you.
Fuck
Damn
that.
it."
Holy,
Yeah,
you actually worked me up there. I actually got upset there with you talking about it.
because you know I'm right,
Yeah,
and that's what
exactly. You
hurts.
are right. You're too right. You're too fucking right.
Oh, dude. God, you were right not to miss her at all. I'm doubling down. I hope she never comes back. Stay away. God damn it. Oh, fuck. Oh, so
Fuck.
Foster, to give you some context, I am so sorry, Foster. Let me give you context because that's my fault, and you're beautiful, and you should be able to participate in the discussion. So, Asuka has been making these tweets actually for a while now because she even said with like the triple threat that happened recently with her, Alexa, and who was it? Rhea, right? It was her, Alexa, and Rhea.
I think so,
Um,
yeah. Wait,
that like,
wait,
oh,
wait, wait, wait,
nobody,
wait,
you
wait,
should root
wait.
for anybody
Her,
but
Alexa, and Rhea. What is this?
the triple threat, the number one, the two
The
triple threat
triple
matches that
threat
they
was
had.
Asuka, Rhea, and Bailey.
Oh, Oscar Rhea and why did I think Alexa? Oh, okay. So it was Bailey, and then Alexa was in the other one. But anyway, Oscar said, I think you should cheer for anybody but me. And then she had another tweet where it's like, this world is shit. I'm listening to Megadeth and going to bed. And then she did another one, this world is shit. I'm listening to Metallica's newest song and I'm going to bed. Then she does Goodbye Cruel World, which that one went viral because people thought, oh my God, is Asuka like suicidal? Jesus Christ.
Right.
Like we've had enough of that in pro wrestling.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, you know, I want to kind of tell Asuka maybe to tone it down a little, but to her credit, she did post a picture, and that's the thing with these tweets. She's posting a picture of her old gimmick as Kana, the demon clown, where she used to come out with this clown paint, spit blood. It was a whole fucking mood, and it was amazing. And then she does this German kind of poem. I think something about nature. I'd pull it up, but again, I don't really like wasting time, and I don't like dead air. But again, she posts a picture of the gimmick. So all of this is to say, Foster, that like she's teased the gimmick before and she's posted pictures of it before, but she's going really hard on it recently. And that's the only
Yeah.
reason I'm even giving it any time because WrestleMania season is upon us. And I'm like, holy shit, is she actually going to finally do this gimmick? Because I've even wondered too. We were talking recently, even how old Asuka is and how amazing she is at her age. But we don't know how much longer she's going to be with the company. Dude, if this is like her third act, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
And like, when you mentioned Charlotte and her having an Instagram interaction, I'm like, oh, well, that could just eat my whole ass because Charlotte doesn't get to be anywhere near this fucking shit. And then I already did the impression and everything else, so I'm not going to be redundant. And I already got the pop, but it needs to be Becky. With all their history, I'm like, it'd be the perfect WrestleMania opponent for Asuka. There are no titles, right? So you still get to put an individual shine on the championships and you're still showcasing the women because it's like, oh my God, look, we can do matches that don't revolve around the title.
Yeah.
Like, it's right there. Just do it. Just why do you make things so hard? But we don't know if Asuka's doing it. I'm getting excited for nothing. She's working me. I will readily admit she's working me, but you can see how much fun I'm having being worked. So I'm not even going to say that it's a bad thing. And yeah, if Becky is going to win this goddamn feud, the only positive I could get out of it is feed the new Asuka gimmick, which could potentially be her third act in WWE. I don't know. And then whoever she would put over, that being Asuka, or if she goes back to Kana, I don't know. Whoever she would put over with it, God, you should put the women's title on them right after that. So yeah, there's so much here in this division. I agree with Foster. He said earlier in chat there need to be more call ups. But yeah, like am I alone in this? Like, I want you to talk for a little bit. How do you feel like the whole between Raw and SmackDown? I feel like Raw's got the better women's division, but I still feel like on the whole, it's in a pretty weak state right now. How do you feel about it?
Raw's women's division is exceptionally better than SmackDown's. I think SmackDown has a very
Yes.
weak women's division. I think the women's division on SmackDown actually needs a lot of help. And really, I wouldn't mind if Damage Control actually got sent over to SmackDown. And I think Raw's women's division would still be reasonably okay, even if that would happen. That's how strong I think Raw's women's division is, because you have Becky, you have Bianca, you have Rhea, you have Asuka. Literally, you have those four women. It doesn't matter what you surround them with. Those four women by themselves are going to make it work.
Yes.
You
100%.
add in Bailey, Io, and Dakota, and holy fuck, you almost have too much. Given WWE's capacity for booking women's matches, they almost have too much talent in one place, and not enough then on SmackDown.
Dude, SmackDown is suffering. Like, if Raw's eating at least with those four, SmackDown is picking at the scraps off the goddamn plate. It is bad on SmackDown.
SmackDown is suffering succotash.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you.
But yeah, no, SmackDown is literally like Ronda, who fucking sucks as the champion, Shayna, who should be champion as her underling, Liv, who's pretty good, but they can't put the title back on her this quickly because the crowd kind of soured on her by the end because of Ronda, Shotzi, who is good but not over, and nobody else is even relevant right now.
Yeah, yeah. It's a sorry state of
I think
affairs.
it really comes down to Ronda ruins everything because not only is Ronda a horrible champion, but everyone that interacts with her comes out of that interaction worse off than they were before they interacted with her.
Yes. Yes, I really wish that she had never come back, honestly. And since she has, I think it's even been worse than her first run in a way. I've just it's felt pretty dead and lifeless to me. So I guess with that, we can move on to another topic. But yeah, how are we feeling? What do we want to talk
What
about
other
next?
topic? What do you want to talk about?
Let's see. We should probably save Sammy Uso. That's some good shit right there.
You want to? Okay.
Um, yeah, well, I mean that's really good stuff. I mean, Bobby Lashley speared a WWE official, and so I guess he's continuing his heel stuff.
Oh, I
Um,
actually didn't even know about that, much less having capacity to talk about it. So tell me about that. What exactly happened there?
I think from context, like my understanding, him and Seth Rollins are in a feud, and I think he was going to spear Rollins, and he intercepted an official. So maybe think twice about that before you get involved in altercations that have nothing to do with you. I don't know. I'm just saying. And
Sounds about
yeah,
right, yeah.
yeah, yeah. See, I'm getting points all over the board today. So, I don't know why I popped myself. I'm sorry. Um, so yeah, we've got Lashley and Rollins in a feud. Don't really know how I feel about it again because I've been checked out, so I can't really judge it one way or the other. But I mean, yeah, they're two legit acts. I mean, they're two guys that I think at any other time with Rumble coming up, and I know we do our Rumble mini game, which I'll be excited to do, and then make that a part of our preview predictions as we do every year. I think any other time you'd be looking at these guys as potential Final Fours, in the men's Rumble. Seth, I still think is absolutely in that territory. Lashley, I'm not so sure about these days.
Right.
But what do you think about just the crowd embracing Seth? Because they have embraced him as a face for a long time. So really, what I should say, let me amend that. WWE just embracing Seth as a face again, and just him kind of feuding with Lashley as a heel. And where do you think they should take Rollins from here? Do we think maybe go back to feuding for the world title maybe in 2023? Only because I don't know how the rest of 2022 is going to look here with Roman Reigns. But we
Yeah,
have some
it's
ideas.
actually quite interesting to me. I've I feel like Seth's in this weird place where they can't really decide if they want him to be a full blown baby face or more of like a tweener. Because I feel like hasn't
Yeah.
he been doing some dastardly shit lately too? Honestly.
I mean, he's a dastardly boy, my guy. So
Yeah.
you're probably right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the way you said that.
Why are
But
you?
yeah,
What is so funny?
I am in a good mood. I just said the way you said that. Hasn't he done some dastardly things? Like you're a little sus, but you don't want to alarm the group. So you're just like trying to gesture like, am I the only one seeing this? And no, it's yeah, he's
Well,
got
we
stuff.
don't need to be on high alert, but we should at least be on some level of alert, right?
I am on high alert at least once a week, and it's pretty fucking great. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I don't think
But
that being high and being on high alert are necessarily the same thing.
I would tell you not to tell me things right now, sir, but I mean that's literally kind of the point of the show. So you keep telling me things, but you know, just
Watch my tone.
watch yourself. Yeah, a little bit. but
Son of a
I don't
bitch.
know. I don't know anymore.
I think you do.
So you know what? You're right. I don't know why I'm denying what is it? Plausible deniability. I don't know why I'm trying to do that. I know what I'm doing. What are they gonna do? Book me?
I would.
So, ooh. All right. Let's see. God. Raw actually didn't seem like it had a lot going on this week, honestly. Even
It
looking
was
at
a
the YouTube
pretty
recap.
meh episode of Raw for sure.
Yeah, well, you know what? Your face isn't mass, so we should probably change that up. I guess chronologically, we could talk about AEW a little bit
You know,
since
it's
that,
funny though. I will say we might even be able to get a little bit of a conversation out of this. Raw was main evented, if I remember correctly, by the Austin Theory Ali match, wasn't it?
was it?
Well, don't take that as me telling you that's what happened. Take me as me wondering if that's what happened.
Let's see if we can Google that and then maybe get a potential
I
conversation
mean, we might
started
just get an
here.
answer in chat.
Yeah, okay,
Oh,
so yeah.
Bliss
Oh,
winning the triple threat main evented.
well, that killed any interest I had in conversation.
Well, that's the thing, though, right? Is like they opened the show with the good triple threat. Actually, I don't know if they opened it, but the good triple threat happened early in the show. It was definitely in the first hour. I don't know if it opened the show, but it was definitely in the first hour. I do remember that for sure. And you know the Bailey Rhea Asuka one, and Bailey won, which I think took a lot of the air out of the room because Bailey has already challenged for the title so much recently that people are just ready for something different. I mean,
Yeah.
we know Javaris is ready for something different, and I don't think that he is in the minority on that front. I think that he probably speaks for a large swath of people. So, in that sense, I kind of feel like that took a lot of the air out of the room because then it was like, well, either we're getting Bailey again, which people aren't happy about, or we're getting one of the women in the other match, which is either going to be Becky, which we could also say again because Becky is just fucking always in the title picture, or Bliss or Cross, and people don't want that either.
Yeah.
So I think once Bailey won that first triple threat, I think that kind of sucked a lot of the air out of the room, and it was like, oh, so now we're either going to get something really repetitive or something that we just don't want.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right. And that's the collision course that we're on because I fully expect again, and we already kind of touched on this, so just very quickly, I fully expect Becky to screw Bailey next week.
Oh yeah.
And apparently
Well,
too, I
because
will
that's the
say
thing.
about
Becky probably would have won had it not been for damage control.
right, right. So, and I know DBK mentioned that Rollins and Lashley, they're facing off next week, the number one contender getting to face Theory for the US title. So I guess all I have to say about that is good for the U.S. title to have guys of that caliber kind of fighting for the chance at the champion. But it's even better for Austin Theory to work with guys that I just feel like are more over than he is, and kind of rehabilitate him there and get him back to where WWE wants him to be. Um,
Yeah. This whole thing
yeah,
really, I mean, Mark said it in chat. They're really using this whole thing to just set up Becky Bailey, and then it's going to be Bliss Bianca. I'm assuming at Rumble, which could have positive side effect, that being Bliss not in the Rumble at all. So no chance of her
dude, that'd be
winning it.
so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so nice.
It'd be nicer if it was a Charlotte thing. If it was Charlotte not in the Rumble guaranteed.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, that's so true. Cause like, dude, I've already been like committed emotionally to a good extent. Cause again, whatever Asuka's got going on, I don't think it needs to involve the title. Like, I want her to have another banger with fucking Becky at Mania.
Right.
That's just on my wish list. But we've been talking. It's Rhea for Rumble, absolutely right now. So anybody that's gonna threaten that, maybe get fucked.
Yeah, I was just going to
So
say, I was literally going to say go fuck yourself. So you took most of the words right out of my mouth pretty much.
yeah. Oh man, I'm about to turn up
Twinsies.
some of the tears. Yeah, nice. All right. So do we want to? Okay, let me just ask you because I didn't, but I always feel like it's fair to check in. Did you touch on NXT at all? Like, did you check in on it at all this week?
No, but I do know that there's an NXT pay-per-view going on. Well, I should say an NXT premium live event going on right now as we speak called Deadline.
I'm sorry. This like it's not your fault. I just have to say that WWE really has an uncanny brand of douchiness. Like, of course they'd be like, "Hey, you guys want to watch this pay per view?" No, 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 no. It's a premium live event. Get it wrong? Like, what? I don't
That
know.
was like a
It's
little
silly
baby
to me.
Seth.
Yeah, yeah. It was a little baby Seth. Yeah, and I don't fit into this world anymore. I don't understand. It's silly. But yeah, so there is an event going on. Apparently, I think it was DBK or somebody said that Roxanne Perez won the Iron Survivor Challenge for the
Oh,
women.
that's good. She was really one of the very few people involved in either one of those matches that I actually like.
Yeah, dude, a lot of people seem high on Roxanne Perez, and I haven't seen enough of her to have an opinion.
I
Like, am
like
I
her a
missing
lot.
out?
She's really good.
If you like her a lot, that to me says a lot. I definitely
She was
value your opinion.
Roxy in Ring of Honor.
Okay. I still don't
Didn't
even
we
remember
watch
seeing
her
much of her
win the
then
Ring of
either.
Honor title? I feel like.
Dude, if we did, it was so long ago, and we've consumed so much stuff, both wrestling and
Well, no, but like it
non-wrestling,
would
that
have
I'm just
been
like,
like either earlier this year or last year.
yeah, yeah. But if we did, I honestly don't remember.
That's fair.
That's just yeah. Um, I will say, as far as NXT goes, I did just want to remark because I saw you guys share this in the Discord too, but I saw it on Twitter from at Commander Chrissy, who is wonderful. Hope she's having a good night. Um, at Soul Ruka WWE with the what she calls the Soul Crusher,
Oh,
which is the
the
backflip.
flipping send the cutter thing.
Yeah, I will admit when I saw the NXT Level Up tweet, like, oh my god, they just pulled off an insane move. I'm like, okay, we have different definitions of insane.
Dude,
Simmer
same.
down.
I had that
Yeah,
exact same. I saw that and I was like, oh my god, these fucking people and their clickbait. But it worked on me because I clicked on it, and then I clicked on it and I was like, oh wait, actually, that was kind of fucking dope.
yeah, yeah, dude. I don't know how good this woman is outside of her finish, and you got
Oh,
to
she's
give
not.
credit too to the second woman.
She's not.
Oh, she's not. Oh, of course.
She's new. She's brand new. She's one of these new trainees that they bring in and put on TV after 3 months.
Do we think? And I'm only asking this based on the finish. Do we think that she could be like another Charlotte in the sense of like, oh, she's got some athleticism that she could show in spurts, but she'll never be able to put it together as an actual wrestler? Or is it just still
I
too
mean, if they
early to
push
tell?
her like Charlotte, then yeah.
Well, we'll see then. But dope move, and I will give credit to the second woman as well, who they didn't tag, obviously, because maybe that would have been a bit insensitive. Like, oh, hey, you did a great job eating that canvas, but her positioning was perfect to take that move. So, kudos there. But yeah, I'll have to check in on Roxanne Perez more because the only thing I really saw was her getting betrayed by Cora Jade, and ooh,
I
that
mean,
was
dude,
rough.
Roxanne checks a lot of boxes for me. Like, she is really good in the ring. She's absolutely fucking adorable. She's super tiny, so she gives off like AJ Lee vibes almost. And yeah, like she's awesome. I'm gonna be very much behind her to win everything when she gets called up.
Personal opinion from you, given again that I am woefully underinformed. You think she has like mega babyface potential?
Oh my god, yeah.
I thought you'd say that. Because personally, I think you can never not be ready for the next like mega babies. Because right now it's Bianca's time, but every era does end, and like who's gonna be the one after that? And isn't Roxanne Perez like super fucking young
Yeah,
too?
dude, she's like 20, 21 years old. She's really, really young.
Dude, if they were to ever have like a John Cena in the women's division, maybe she'll be fucking it. I mean, who fucking knows?
I mean, we kind of have that right now with Bianca, don't we?
That is true. But again, what comes after Cena, or in this case, Bianca, and she might be it. So that's really cool. We'll have to see, because I'm guessing she's gonna get a shot now at Mandy Rose. I still can't believe she's women's champion still.
Dude, I
Fuck.
am gonna be so behind Roxanne to beat Mandy. Like that title's lineage deserves better, and really, Roxanne could be a really great first step to improving it.
Um, I agree. I agree. And again, this is coming from a man with a woefully underinformed opinion. I just know that I don't like Mandy Rose as champion.
Yeah,
So
Javaris even just said
yeah,
she won the Ring of Honor Women's Championship at 19 years old,
yeah,
and that was within the last year or two. Like she was super young even then.
yeah. Man, and Mark saying that title means basically nothing at this point. That's man, that really hits hard, Mark, when I consider how many fond memories I have of NXT Women's Championship matches at takeovers. And yeah. But beyond that, I guess we'll just see where else NXT deadline goes. Maybe some results will come in that will be like, oh, you want to talk about this? No, not really, and we'll just move on, or maybe we won't have a sidebar about it. But in the meantime, do we want to talk anything about AEW?
Um, did you see the Regal promo?
Yes. God, I love William to death. I do, and I'm happy for him that he's getting to do what he wants to do. You know, I gave him some love in the Discord recently, looking back at clips of his 2008 heel run when he was both GM and King of the Ring. God, that was so good. That was god damn. So he's brilliant. I'll never have a problem with William personally. It really is with the booking. To say that you're Blackpool Combat Club until you die, but you took the title from them, and in kayfabe, I'm always supposed to believe that he who has the title has the power. So you literally like defanged your own group,
Yep.
taking the power away from them. It doesn't work. I'm sorry. Again, Will's
Yeah.
great,
Well, and
but
even
it
if you
doesn't
don't
work.
want to think of it as power, even if you want to go with like, oh, the champion gets a bigger payday, you're taking food off of the table of a fucking father for a punk ass kid that doesn't know the meaning of family.
Yeah, yeah. I actually love how you put that because we should never forget like the classist element, like in any feud that MJF's going to be in, especially if he ever feuds with Kingston, because I'm thinking about that
Yeah.
a lot. But yeah, like no, I'm glad you brought that up. Um,
Excuse me.
yeah, I agree with you. I just honestly, when you make a point that compelling, like I think adding would only dilute it. So there was that. I like the promo because Regal has a sincerity, but conceptually it just doesn't work.
No.
If there's anything you want to add, we can keep talking about AEW, but just moving on to something
I have
else. So
nothing on top of that.
okay. Um, I think we should talk about the biggest thing that I think AEW got buzz for this week, at least from my perspective and my corner of the wrestling world that I
Okay.
inhabit the most. The Starks MJF promo. How did you feel
Okay,
about
we can
this?
talk about it, sure. I I think it was very overrated, personally.
Because here's the thing, I was prepared for that only because I did see some of your comments. I didn't have the full context, right? But I saw some of your context in the Discord about it.
Yeah.
So if you could just walk us through like your feelings like while watching it, I'd love to hear it. So
Well, I heard that it was really good, so I seeked it out. I went out and I found it and I watched it. And God, first of all, it just comes off as so insincere. Like it even trying to suspend my disbelief, I still just get the vibe that this is like two buddies roasting each other for fun. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And like I like Ricky Starks. I do like him, but I don't like him as a main event level talent, first of all.
yeah. Okay, yeah,
And I think I mean, to double down, I don't think that MJF is a main event level talent either. So I'm just going to double down on that. Just neither one of these guys to me says, "Oh yeah, this guy's a main eventer." Neither one of them. I don't think either one
yeah,
of them should be. Um, it was really just insults though. That's really the whole thing. It was they were just fucking insulting each other. That was the whole thing. And I'm like, what happened to promos being meant to build a match?
yeah. I can see what you're saying. Yeah,
If you spend an entire promo just insulting the other guy, isn't that just cutting your opponent down and making you look worse when you face him?
as we've talked about. Yeah, I absolutely. I think you got to give your opposition credit and kind of recognize them as that threat. I think the most we saw of that as far as building the match was Ricky just flat out saying like next week is a really big deal. But then he goes on to say like you don't deserve that title, but I do. And I'm going to do you a favor and take that responsibility off your plate, little boy. And then he drops the mic. Um so yeah, he does kind of like promote the match and talk about it. I think MJF did something similar on his half of the mic, but it was just all surrounded by like a bunch of verbal jabs and stuff like that. So I could see why you'd feel the way that you did.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Um,
just didn't click for me. I just feel like it was very elementary. It was very promo class 101. It was very like someone that's never been to a wrestling school, never wrestled a match in their lives could have cut those promos and I feel like we wouldn't have blinked an eye at it. You know what I mean?
I think
It
so.
felt like a
Here's where
Logan
I'm
Paul
going.
promo.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Actually, fuck. Because here's the thing. I totally understand where you're coming from. I will say I liked Stark's half of the promo a bit more.
Well, yeah, I
And
will.
there's
I
like a
mean, the energy that Starks brought, that's my big thing. I think that what made Starks' half of the promo good wasn't what he said. It was the energy. He has charisma. He is a great talker. What he said was just garbage, though, because it was just insults. It was just, oh, MJF, haha, you suck and you're short and you wear stupid scarves and you have bad fashion, haha.
I will admit, because I am a child, I did giggle when he said you come out here every week and you smell like paint thinner and ass. I chuckled at that. I'm like, okay, that's the one that you get. That's
That
the
see, but
one.
that's a fucking Rock insult. That's the kind of shit the Rock used to do. So all he's doing is validating it when MJF calls him the Pebble.
Yeah, yeah. Oh god. But I think for me, it's funny that having stepped away from AEW as considerably as I have, because as you guys can tell, I am still watching YouTube clips to a point. And even that's really just consigned to the main event scene. I'm I'm slowly, like with each and every week, losing interest in MJF and not giving a shit about him nearly as much as I once did. Because I'm starting to see what's like happening here. That I think AEW wants MJF to be the kind of champion that Ric Flair was in like NWA.
Yeah.
And the problem is, and again, it's another person that I really don't want to give credit because my God, did they not age gracefully at all in this business. But like, I've watched old school Ric Flair promos, and I can honestly say, like, MJF fucking wishes. Truthfully. Because, like, when Flair would cut a promo, he would give the other guy credit, but he would do it in such a way that you don't forget that he's Ric Flair. And MJF can't do that. I don't.
It's the AJ
Yeah,
Styles thing, right? You're great, you're amazing, you're incredible at what you do, but you're not phenomenal. It's that level of shit.
exactly. Exactly. Um, and that's the thing. Like MJF doesn't have that ability because say what we will about Ric Flair, and we have said a lot, and all of it I will double down and say
Yeah.
justifiably. But the dude in his fucking heyday when he was running shit could cut a fucking promo. Like I will never take that away from him. Not to mention, I think another aspect is I'm going to talk shit about the guy, but I'm going to make him look good leading up to the big show, but then retain on the big show because MJF does eat a spear here, which was a nice looking spot. I will give both guys credit for that. He sold that like a bullet through the fucking ribs. And yeah, like that was good. But to me, he doesn't have the magnetism that a Flair does. And maybe you would have if you had kept the nuance that you were seemingly starting to develop in your character of I'm this way because life taught me I have to be this way. And I haven't exactly learned my lesson yet. So I'm going to keep going on this path with these pangs of conscience. That was the one thing I did find weird about the promo, if I could just say because Starks is saying like, "Oh, you don't know responsibility. That's the responsibility when people actually like you." And I'm like, this feels so out of place because we just did that story already. Like MJF,
Yep.
if I'm MJF, right, and the character that I am now, my first response, why would I give a fuck about that? I don't give a fuck if these people like me. I literally just said that they're poor. I have a Porsche parked out front. They fucking wish.
Yeah.
Like the whole lot of them, the only way that they could even come close to my stamps, my wealth is putting their food stamps together. Like fuck these people. So I don't know why Starks even had that line. That didn't make any sense to me. That kind of bothered me actually because I'm like, well, no, MJF isn't that nuanced of a character. He's not this heel that wishes so desperately people would like him, but he knows the moment they do, he'll have to be something he's not, and that means being a failure because he associates that with failure. That's a fascinating character to me. That is a fascinating fucking character to me. But this dude is just like, oh, I'm the devil. I convinced you that. I think I made this reference before. In fact, I know I made this reference before, so I apologize for being redundant. But when you're right, you're right. This really is that South Park episode where Cartman is scheming against Kyle, like, oh, I'm gonna beat him up, or maybe even plan about killing him. Kyle knew the whole time. He's like, Cartman's gonna do it. I think even Stan was fucking foolish, and he's like, oh, give him a chance. He's like, no, dude, it's fucking Cartman. Like, no, I know this is coming. And then Cartman like does the big reveal, like, ha, I bet you never knew, Care. I did though. I did though. And that's him. Like, you're not gonna get me with this. Like, oh, does he wish he was liked? Does he need a hug? Fuck your hug. You're a heel. This is the bed you made. This is the bed the booking made. And this is the title reign. And I feel like it's just cool. Like, it's funny that he dropped JBL because that's probably the closest approximate to the kind of reign he's going to have.
Yep.
He's going to do the cheap heat. for like 9 months to a year. Then a babyface is going to beat him, and it's going to be a combination of genuine happiness for the babyface,
And
but
relief.
also a huge sigh of relief that like it's over.
Yep.
So yeah, because I watched the promo too. I've even watched it like multiple times, I would say, and like each time I watched it, I'm like, I do like Starks better, but man, MJF, you got to step it the fuck up because you're like, to me, if he was even doing those promos on the lead up to the title, which we know he was, I gave it a pass. But when you're the champion, you got to change some things up. Like the narrative's got to change because you're in a different position than you were before. So obviously things change. And I don't know. I guess I just, he's going to retain next week. And then Danielson, he better be able to keep up with Danielson on the mic because Danielson will eat him alive. Danielson is fucking amazing at promos. He will carry that feud
I
and
have
he
an
might
honest
expose
question to
MJF.
ask you.
Sure.
And I'm only asking you this because I'm not sure myself. Do you think Danielson's better on the mic than Moxley?
I'm glad you asked me that question, and I understand why you asked me that question because between the two of us, I've been like just riding high on Mox's promos this whole time. I will say he can be. He definitely can be. Like, because I'm even thinking about some of my favorite Danielson promos, and the two periods that I think of in his WWE time were when he just stopped giving a fuck about being goody goody, and he even told Paul Heyman to his face, like, I'm gonna go back to being the best wrestler in the world. Like, I love that shit. But then before that, dude, his like eco heel gimmick had some of the best promos I think he cut in his entire career. Like, he was incredible. So I think he can be for sure because Moxley, I think with him, it's just he's always sincere, and I think he does ace promos because he is the ace of AEW. Brian,
Right, but
though, just
isn't
from a
that what
character
Danielson's going
standpoint,
to have to do here, though? Because he's not a heel anymore. He's a babyface.
true.
And he's
We'll
going to
have
be,
to
like,
see, man.
defending Regal's honor, oddly enough.
Oh God, yeah. Oh, what? That's weird too. That does kind of hamper things on Danielson's side because it's gonna make me be like, but they get away with it though, I guess, because it's not Danielson he screwed necessarily. It was Moxley, but by extension, Blackpool Combat Club. So you're trying to square a circle. But he's a great promo. They'll probably find a way to make it work. Danielson will find a way to make it work. There's no fucking we here. AW, fuck. Um, but MJF's either going to get exposed or he's going to have to step the fuck up because, yeah, Danielson's going to eat him alive on that mic. It's not going to be pretty.
I mean, yeah, that's why I asked, though, right? It was because he went toe-to-toe with Moxley on the mic and didn't completely drown.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. Oh my God. No, guys, here's the thing. Danielson, and I've said this for years, he's one of those guys that when we do 5v5s, Ashton at least has the good sense to always give Danielson his flowers. I, more often than not, slack, but I can readily admit there's a reason why he's very actively in the conversation for best wrestler in the world. And not only that, but like one of just the all-time goats, or that's redundant, one of the all-time greats, I should say, is because he's just that good. So yeah, he absolutely didn't drown with Moxley, and
Oh,
he's
I
gonna be
meant
fucking
MJF.
Michael
I'm
Phelps.
sorry if I said Danielson. I meant MJF didn't drown on the mic against
Oh,
Moxley.
no, he didn't. But like, and now I get the full context to why you asked. Yeah, I don't know because here's the thing about Danielson though, man. Moxley's good and he's legit. I've likened him to Harley Race because every time Harley Race would talk, he's legit. But there's a magical fire when Danielson really gets a good promo. And that magical
That's
fire,
true.
I think if he's able to have it in this feud, MJF is screwed. Like, I don't know how you top that, man. Because,
God,
like,
you know what though? MJF, just the type of heel that he is, I feel like Danielson could cut one of those magical promos, and then MJF is just the fucking type of shit heel that he could just completely like kill all of the fire that Danielson had built up with like one stupid little line about he's a goat face or whatever. Like he's just such a like a childish heel, if that makes sense.
yeah, yeah. And, like, he'll go for the low hanging fruit, too, when it comes to the really personal stuff. Like, oh, if you get in there with me, your brain isn't going to heal this time. Or something. Like, I could see MJF
Yeah,
having a line like
yeah, for
that,
sure.
and it's like, then you could join, Regal at a retirement home or whatever the fuck. It's
Yeah,
just going to be like,
he's
oh
100.
my
That's
God.
100% happening. I think you might have just actually written MJF's promo for this coming Dynamite.
am I so in tune with horrible people? First Charlotte and now this. Fuck. I have taste, right? Somebody assure me that I have taste.
You do.
Spiraling
You have
over here.
great taste, and the problem is that you also have an exquisite taste in douchebags.
Ew, fuck, my palate's betrayed me. No. Uh, anything else to talk about on AEW? Because I do want to talk about Moxley, Takeshi, just the highlights I saw from the
Okay, we'll
Rampage
get into
match.
that then. Go ahead.
Oh, well, yeah, I saw like a highlight video of it. I unfortunately wasn't able to see the full thing, but guys, I just want to take this time to say Takeshi is fucking awesome. Oh my god, I love this dude. And I will say, anybody that saw the match, and again, I only saw the highlights, but I think we can all agree, no matter what we saw of the match, Moxley gave Takeshita the Yuta treatment. Just in the sense of that third match he had with Yuta, you know, I think Yuta was bleeding. I don't think Takeshita was bleeding in this one, to be fair. Moxley was, and I did laugh about that seeing the highlights because I even asked. I think it's starting to get to me now where I'm like, how did he even bleed? What the fuck? But dude, I think the best spot, and I'm thinking if you would have watched it with me, like if we would have just decided, hey, John, you like Takeshita and this is happening, do you want to react? And I would have been like, yeah, you might have popped for this. They did the 1 count spot after he hit paradigm shift, and
Oh,
Takeshita
the
kicked out at
non like
fucking
lift
one.
one.
Yeah, well, no, it was the lift one. That's the crazy fucking thing. It
Huh?
was the lift one, and like he got a 1 count. Takeshita like did a fire up kick out, and that was insane. And
Wait, he
so
kicked out of a proper like brainbuster paradigm shift
yeah, at one,
at one.
he like fired up and kicked
I
out,
don't know if I would have
which
popped in a good way at that, bro. That sounds like it would have pissed me off. I'm annoyed at it just
because I
thinking
feel
about
like
it.
I feel like, to be fair, and I'm not saying that would change your opinion at all, but that's why I'm saying it was like the Yuta treatment, because I could swear that they did a similar thing with the Yuta match. But I honestly, maybe that was a near fall, which, that's a different kind of thing. But yeah, he kind of fired up, did a little bit more back and forth, very competitive match. And then Moxley wins with the bully choke. But like Takeshita passes out, he doesn't tap out. So I think this was AEW's way using Moxley to really put Takeshita over. Um, Kushida, wow, way to undersell. Um, and yeah, so I don't know. For me, I really liked what I saw in the highlights. I'd love to see those guys go at it again and actually be a witness to it. I think Takeshita is awesome. I really enjoy him in the ring. He seems to have a great personality, at least as far as like Twitter and stuff is concerned. I'd like to see him on the mic more to get more of an actual assessment of promo slash character. And matches like what he had with Moxley are why I said when people were talking about MJF opponents, I would like to see Takeshita challenge MJF at some point. Not for like a pay per view, but for like a similar dynamite, like what they're doing with Starks with Winter is Coming next week. I think he'd be really great in that spot. I know me and
Yeah.
Kid Coheed, who is awesome, had a discussion and he's like, oh, well, he shouldn't win. Like, he should win the TNT title. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 no. Like, he's not going to win. But again, MJF, and that's why I kind of commended you earlier, Ashley, when you brought up like Moxley being more blue collar and MJF being like this rich prick. You know, you can always tell those kinds of stories because Takeshita is like a foreign transplant. Like he's from Japan.
Yeah.
He's going and he's like this naive, idealistic, in a babyface sense, version of the American dream. But MJF is the dream and it's reality. Like he's rich, the rich control everything. And like I love the idea of that story. And yeah, obviously Takeshita doesn't win, but it gives him a rub that if he were to win the TNT title, it's believable because he took the world champion to the limit. So it only makes sense that he'd win like the mid card title.
Right.
I just think the dude has a bright fucking future. I'm really
Well,
excited for
especially now that
him.
he's signed on the dotted line, they're going to be more open to actually putting a title on him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll tell you, with the kind of thing, because his whole thing on Twitter, he loves Cinnabon. Like, loves Cinnabon. Cinnabon's interacted with him too.
Nice.
If he ever wins a title or whatever, if I'm AEW, I get Cinnabon on the phone and it's like, hey, can we do a sponsorship or something?
Hell yeah.
Maybe get Kesha in a commercial or something.
Yep.
Like, you take advantage of that shit. So, yeah, I just wanted to say from the highlights I saw, great stuff. Still, Moxley deserves that fucking vacation, though. I don't know why he's still here. Um, but great match and really excited for the future of Takeshita. So, beyond that, is there anything to talk about from Dynamite that you want to talk about, or do you want to get right into SmackDown? And if so, I would still like you to choose the first topic if there's anything on your mind.
I don't even really know what there is to talk about as far as SmackDown goes this week. I know Roman wasn't around. We do have a couple of injuries. Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre actually both ruptured their eardrums at Survivor Series War Games, and they will miss. I think it was 6 weeks or something like that. Speaking of 6 weeks, I saw Riddle is also going to be out for 6 weeks. I don't know exactly what his injury is though.
Oh, so that's why they wrote him off with the solo Sokoa attack, which I
Yeah.
know Caster Sales was like, I'm surprised you guys didn't talk about that. I saw the beatdown. I chuckled. It was good shit. Um, so yeah, I guess really put over Solo as the enforcer. Um, but yeah, look, we're used to Roman Reigns like not defending or not making appearances. So 6 weeks, honestly, for a guy that they've kind of presented the way they presented Roman Reigns, that's nothing. That's fine. They can make 6 weeks. Um, I'm guessing Sammy, like the Sammy Uso storyline. I know on YouTube they said that Jay Uso they're doing something for next week, and he suggested Sammy might want to spruce up. So I don't know if that was meant to be like a tense moment or what's going on there. Apparently Ronda and Shotzi are still feuding.
Yes.
Shotzi got her hand smashed in a car door. I guess the biggest story to come out of SmackDown, right, would be all the Kurt Angle stuff and Gable
Gable
Steveson.
Steveson. Yeah, the second milk bath.
Yes, yes. Now, I'm guessing Gable and Otis got the milk bath, right? Because I
Yes.
know we were talking about this. Okay, okay.
And that's Chad Gable and not Gable Steveson. He
Yeah, yes,
contributed
yes,
to giving the milk bath.
yes.
And
Ah,
apparently there was a Jason Jordan cameo, which I didn't even know about. Thank you, Alex, for pointing that out.
yes, yes. And Jason Jordan, you know what? Good to see him, or at least when I heard about that, because I remember Foster mentioned that before. So good for him on that. Um, Yeah, I guess, bro, I'll start with you here, by which I mean, like, I'll ask you a question. I know quite a while ago, I don't even want to say a year, you already know, perception of time, COVID, all that bullshit. But however long ago it was, you had informed me that there were reports that Steveson wasn't progressing the way that WWE had hoped he would.
Yeah, I think that
And
was
that,
around a year ago. I think that was towards the end of
yeah.
2021, like November, December 2021.
And so now, if they're kind of unveiling him here, maybe he has gotten to the point where the progress is where they want it to be. But
Yeah.
given all of that, do you still feel like, because and really I shouldn't put this on you, because I know I was very like crowing about it like he was going to do big shit. So let me just ask you in a more general sense, do you think, not ascribing any past view to you, that he's still going to do major things, world titles, main events, all that stuff? Or do you think this might be another sunken cost fallacy a la Ronda? How do you see this going?
I 100% think that he is a future world champion, yes.
Still, wow.
Yeah.
That's,
And
yeah,
I'll tell you
yeah.
why. Because he's got the great look and he's literally an Olympian. To me, I don't know if you need much more than that. Even if you're kind of mid in the ring, like even if you're only as good as Ronda Rousey in the ring and you're kind of a fucking wet blanket on the mic, I think if you've got that good of a look and you have those credentials, I think WWE will go out of their way to still give you the kind of packaging and presentation required to make you a credible and viable main eventer.
I think you're 100% right. I think when you put it that way, because here's the thing, and this is taking the piss on a performer for a change, because I know I put those caveats. Oh, this isn't this Becky. This isn't this that one. This is a diss for this one.
Ronda. Oh,
Swagger was
swagger.
only an NCAA champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like, it's not nothing. I couldn't do that. I'm not going to try and act like I could. But he wasn't an Olympic gold medalist the way Stevenson is, and he got a world heavyweight title and a Money in the Bank, which kind of led up to that.
Oh my God, you're
So
right. I forgot that he's a former world champion. Fuck.
yeah, but you see now that that kind of strengthens your point.
Yeah.
I'm kind of expounding upon your
Yeah,
point.
because
Like,
he was a wet blanket in the ring and he was actively terrible on the mic.
yeah, exactly.
But he
I
had
would
a
say
look.
Stevenson has a
He had
better
a
look.
look like a monster, and he had that level of credibility.
Yeah,
So they went in on him. Even though he sucked at everything that he actually had levels of control over, he was garbage.
yeah, yeah. And again, to kind of reiterate the point, because I kind of talked over it and I apologize, but you're right about Swagger's look. But I would say Stevenson has a better look than Swagger does personally.
Oh
I
my
think he's
God,
more
yeah.
marketable.
Well, he's shorter than Swagger, which if it was Vince would work against him quite a bit. But I don't know if Triple H is as heightest as Vince was.
Here's the thing, and I'm gonna be that guy. um,
Because before you say that, I do just want to get this in here real quick. I
yes,
think, if I remember correctly, Stevenson is what, like 6 foot even, or is he like 6'1" maybe?
I think 6'1". I thought. Wonder if we could just look that up real
Six
quick.
one. Yeah, he's 6'1". So
Yeah.
yeah, he's tall enough. He's like John Cena size, basically. I think Cena's around 6'1" as well. So yeah, I think he doesn't quite have the height because Swagger or Hager or whatever you want to call him was like 6'5", 6'6". He had that Randy Orton height. He had that main eventer in Vince's mind height. Because you got to remember, dude, Hogan himself, the original Vince McMahon chosen one, was 6'8" in his prime.
Yeah, yeah.
So like Vince, I mean, we have size queen as a term for other things, but Vince was a size queen in his own way.
Yes. Um, but I'm gonna be that guy and just say, because I don't know, I was really hyped about
Holy
Stevenson.
shit! Wait a minute, dude. I'm sorry to cut you off again, but we just got huge news in the chat from Javaris. The New Day beat Pretty Deadly for the NXT tag titles.
Yeah, I did see that. I was gonna circle back around to that after this discussion, but we could talk about it now real quick. New Day are Triple Crown champions then, because they even said that they wanted to be Triple Crown, so they must count the NXT tag titles as something. They've done Raw, SmackDown, and now NXT. Um,
That's crazy. Are they the first ever to do that?
thought the Rev- I thought the revival might have been, because I know American Alpha wasn't, because they did SmackDown and NXT, but I don't think they ever won the Raw tag titles together.
Huh. Interesting. Oh yeah, Revival did it first. Okay, there we go. Anyway,
Look
let's.
at my face.
You're amazing, honestly. Holy shit.
Yeah, you're amazing too, bud. But no, good for New Day. And really, I'd be saltier about it if New Day were like hotter than they are right now. I do think that they're at a cool enough temperature, metaphorically speaking, that this seems suitable for them. Um, and I think whichever tag team they put over is going to be, that's going to be a huge rub for whatever tag team goes over them. So yeah, congratulations to New Day. Awesome stuff. But yeah, just to round out my point about Stevenson,
Yeah.
because I did just want to say maybe the universe is like, no, you don't have to make this point. Maybe that's why I've been stopped. But he does seem to have a lot of silver bullets in the chamber, because we know the news that came out about him when he was first signed, that, he had rape allegations against him and they didn't go anywhere. And that's always kind of left like a bad taste in my mouth, because we know how this system is. So them not going anywhere doesn't exactly mean you didn't do it.
Right.
And that is something I always think about. But not only did he survive that, because he's gonna be okay. Like I think a lot of people have even forgotten. And if somebody would bring it up again, I don't think it would get the traction that it did the first time. That's just my opinion. With everything going on in the world, I don't really see that, being magnified all that much. So that was the first silver bullet. And then the second one was Vince has shit happen. But unlike Stevenson, Vince gets pulled all the way fucking under. So Stevenson is like, oh, I survived. The guy that would have been against me because I'm a little small didn't. And I'm on my way to Mania, baby. And he's fucking getting in the limo and he's like, let's fucking do it. Um, yeah, I look, all I can say is I hope it works out for the company. I wish I could really be stoked about Stevenson, but given the aforementioned stuff that I just talked about, it has kind of tainted it a bit for me. I will say though, this kid could make a lot of fucking money. And I remember when you and I were talking about it, when it was still kind of up in the air if he would even sign. Um that because he was debating, do I stay in Minnesota and do I go for another national title, or do I go to WWE? I thought he should have stayed in college, and I thought he should have spent one more year national title. But I think when Stevenson was looking at his prospects, he's probably thinking, I just won the gold medal. My value is at an all-time high right now. I know how collective memory works. If I spend another year in college, people are going to forget what I did. I need to strike while the iron's hot. Not to mention, if he would have lost the national title going for it for another year, that would have hurt his value too. The same way Rousey's loss, a lot of people speculated that was going to hurt her value. I don't think it did in the long run, but I think Stevenson actually would have. So ultimately, if you're looking at logistics, I do think he made the right call. I just hope for him it's the right call long term. You know, that's what you want for everybody. And I hope it's entertaining for us, because obviously consuming it, you want it to be good. So I guess my follow-up question to you is, they're kind of bringing him back out, and they're like, okay, you know, we're going to do the angle, we're going to do the milk bath, all that stuff. Great segment to kind of, you know, have him in. Is he going to be in Royal Rumble, you think? Or do you think they're going to put him back, keep doing the work, and then unveil him at another time? How
I
do you think
don't
they're
think
going to
that
do
they
this?
would have done this right now at this time to kind of re-debut him and maybe even potentially get him a little bit more familiar with the crowd before Rumble if they weren't planning on having him in the Rumble.
I'm inclined to agree with you. And honestly, and I know I have had a lot of opinions, and sadly, most of them sober, so I don't have the cover of being high, that were way off the ground and way off base. I still wouldn't be surprised if Stevenson was Final Four in the Rumble. I'm not saying he will be. I'm just saying it wouldn't surprise me if they wanted to be like, wow, what a fucking prospect. Um, and yeah, so that's really how I feel about that. I know Foster has been saying like they should push his brother, Damon Kemp. From what I've seen of Damon Kemp, I'm not opposed to that idea. I think, you know, he's good too. Admittedly, Foster, since I've been checked out of NXT for so long, I am way fucking behind. So I'd have to kind of get my finger back on the pulse. I think the last thing I saw was him kind of chumming it up with the Creed brothers when Diamond Mine was still a thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I didn't think he was bad. I'll have to check in and see how much better he's gotten. But I'll take your word for it, man. You're more plugged into that product than I am. And yeah, I think WWE, you should just maximize the value. Hey, maybe when Stevenson's in a cooldown period, him and Kemp could team up and they'll probably put the tag titles on him, possibly. Who knows?
Maybe.
But yeah, this is a big WWE project, man. I honestly, dude, here's the funny fucking thing. I think now with Triple H in charge, you could say that this is one of the biggest projects on this plate. Like, you've got an Olympic gold
Mm-hmm.
medalist in your hands.
Yep.
How are you going to present him and stuff? This is a big thing for Hunter. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I do think that was the biggest thing that happened on SmackDown. Is there anything else you want to talk about, or do we get into our next segment?
Um, Let me think real quick. Let me see. Let me see if I can find something real quick. Oh, we should probably talk about Final Battle, right?
Oh yeah, what other results came out? So I saw that Yuta also regained the pure title, and I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, he
Um,
did. We, I know that you and I talked about this privately behind closed doors, but we haven't talked about it publicly here yet. Claudio beat Jericho with the fucking swing. Jericho literally tapped out in the swing.
Yeah, and when you explained it to me further, I've kind of fallen on the side of I don't like that finish, but I wanted to hear your thoughts on it.
Well, it's one of those things where I don't know exactly how many rotations it was because the crowd was counting in seconds rather than counting rotations, and but they were up to 8, and I had only counted 6 rotations. So I'm thinking, whatever the crowd says, I'll just take 3/4 of that, and the crowd was up to I think 16 when the tap out happened.
Right.
So they were between 16 and 20. They were in the high teens, let's put it that way. So I'm thinking he probably tapped out in like the mid, like low to mid teens, like 13, 14-ish. It were maybe 15 at the highest. Now, I feel like we've seen Claudio do plenty more rotations than that, and no one's ever tapped out to the big swing before. No one. That's never happened. This is a first. And it was the first person to ever tap out to the giant swing from Claudio, from Cesaro, going all the way back to fucking 2014 when he was really starting to get it over. First person to ever tap out to the giant swing is the ROH World Champion and 35 or I guess 30 plus year veteran Chris Jericho.
Yeah, I think. Now, let me ask you for context. Did you, just to be perfectly clear, did you hear about this or did you see it?
I watched
Like,
it happen.
finish?
I
You
watched it
watched
happen.
it happen. Because I was going to say, for me, you know me, I can sometimes use a visual component to accompany like what I'm hearing. This way I can like have a more fully formed opinion. But yeah, just Abel, maybe Jericho ad nausea. I fucking love you, Abel. But
Maybe have
yeah,
vertigo.
it doesn't it doesn't translate for me personally. If people enjoyed the finish, that's obviously totally fine. For me, I guess the only good thing is Jericho's not the ROH champion anymore. It's back on Claudio, who maybe now can go on a monster fucking run. And I'm wondering how much closer Tony Khan might be to getting ROH back on
It
TV.
seems pretty close,
And
yeah.
he does seem pretty close. Because I think Claudio being the face of ROH TV, that's really nice. Really nice for the kind of wrestler that Claudio is. I think it'd be a great spot for him. I think he'd make the most of it. But I'm just ready for that match to happen. I'm honestly more upset about Yuto regaining the pure title. And I'm only gonna be okay with it if yeah, Lee Moriarty fucking beats him for it.
Yeah.
But I still want that Lee Moriarty Yuta feud. So yeah, but like it just seemed like Garcia was so hot and had an interesting story, and now Garcia's back at square one. Like I don't even understand why they did that whole story with him. If now he's going to lose that title, I still think he's PWG champion to be fair, but that's separate from the AEW universe. But yeah, you have him win that title against Yuta. Brian puts the belt around his waist and this whole thing, and then like he doubles down on being a heel. So then you think, oh my god, he took that title from BCC, or like yeah, no, that works. And now he's going to go on this monster run with it, and then no, Yuta just gains it back. So I don't know. I'm kind of mad on that,
I mean, dude,
but
to
I
be
guess we'll have to stay
fair,
there.
Garcia, I feel like the entire story that he's going through right now is literally a regression. While they were teasing that he was going to join BCC and leave Jericho and start taking this seriously again, that was when he won the pure title in the first place. So the fact that he completely about face did a 180 and betrayed Danielson then and went back to Jericho and just his entire character regressed, it does make sense to me to a degree that the final step to his regression to what he was before all that started would be dropping the title back to Yuta.
That's a fair counterpoint. That's a fair counterpoint. I'm just hoping that and I think you can understand me when I say this. I'm hoping that AEW like in the writing makes what you just said more explicit. Like actually plays that out, right? Like maybe him and Jericho have a conversation and Jericho says something, Garcia just kind of has that look like it's kind of weighing his life, kind of looking like maybe some bad decisions were made. Because I think what you're saying makes perfect sense. I just want AEW to let us in that, yeah, it does make sense because that's the reality of it.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I feel
so
like when
yeah,
was the last time that Daniel Garcia even wrestled a match on AEW television?
oh God, dude, it's been forever. I
It
feel like.
feels like I feel like literally the last time we actually saw him in it. I mean, because he basically got effectively replaced by Sammy Guevara in the BCC versus JAS feud.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like the last two big matches in that feud were the tag team main event to Dynamite right before Full Gear, Jericho and Sammy versus I think it Claudio and Wheeler? Was it Danielson and Wheeler? I don't remember honestly. But then they did the four-way ROH World Title match that was also involving Sammy instead of Garcia. So yeah, like Garcia basically just got replaced by Sammy G, and we really haven't seen Garcia wrestle a match on AEW television. I'd be willing to put money on it having been at least a month at this point that we haven't seen him wrestle.
I think you're absolutely right. I think at the very least a month because that's what it feels like to me right now. Um, and yeah, I don't know. I like Garcia. I like guys that could really mix it up for that pure title. Again, Lee Moriarty is at the forefront of my mind. But I do think you make a very salient point. I'm just looking for AEW to make that point because they have the power, right? It
Yeah.
really means nothing if you and I make salient points if the company that actually does everything doesn't make those same points. So I'm hoping they follow your lead, man. I really
Oh, I will
do.
say, just to respond to DBK in chat, they absolutely wasted everything about that entire story for Garcia. That story might as
Yeah.
well have never happened. That nothing came out of that story at all. That was a nothing story. That, you know what? I'm pulling up my awards right now. That might be my worst storyline of the year, honestly.
Yeah, I don't blame you, man. Man, I cannot wait for year end awards. I still gotta hustle on my blank categories, but it's gonna be so fucking good this year. Um, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm gonna make that my worst story of the year, and I'm gonna put what I had at my worst story of the year as my honorable mention.
It's a shame too because Garcia's been getting a lot of fanfare. I think he still is to a point, but I think he might have cooled down a little bit from the lack of AEW exposure in recent weeks.
I put
And
I put Daniel Garcia almost, and then in parentheses, but doesn't, leaves JAS for BCC.
man, that's you're wonderful. But dog collar tag title matchup. Did FTR retain?
No, Briscoes won.
See, that's interesting, and I'm not gonna like overstate because if I really was that confident, I would have said something. I like maybe 5% thought that they would, only because I do believe that this week on Dynamite coming up, that FTR is challenging for the AEW tag titles against the Acclaimed.
Against the Acclaimed.
So
Okay, so you think they're gonna win those?
not necessarily. I
Okay,
just think like it makes it a bit more unpredictable now
true.
because it's like they're not carrying all these other belts,
I
right?
mean, they still
So
have.
they're
Wait, do they still have the IWGP tag titles?
that's a good question. I honestly don't know.
Googling. I believe they do. Yes, they do, and I'm pretty sure they still have the AAA tag titles too.
Yeah, I'm guessing the Acclaimed retains, honestly, because I still feel like Gun
Yeah,
Club are going to be
FTR
the
still
ones to
have the
beat the Acclaimed.
AAA tag titles as well. So they have two different tag team championships, neither of which are for the company that they are actually signed to.
That's great. Uh, but yeah,
Oh
did
wait,
you actually
according
see
to
the matches?
DBK and Reality Creator, whatever the hell, the Acclaimed already retained. That match already happened, and then the Acclaimed won.
Oh wow, well, I guess nobody listened to me because my time is all out of sorts. But yeah, I thought that was coming up, so my apologies. And yeah, I guess Acclaimed retained. Did Gun Club have any involvement in that? Just out of
That's a good
curiosity, because I
question.
still
We'll let them answer that question while we move on.
yes. So what do you want to talk about next, friend?
Oh, Um, what else? There were the women's title. Athena won. Or wait, no. Before we do that, I wasn't done with the fucking Jericho shit, dude. You had to see it. Claudio went for a swing like maybe 7 minutes before the one that ended the match, and Jericho had this beautiful, smooth, brilliant reversal to the swing. We don't see the swing get like reversed or like countered ever. That's not a thing that we really see. If you're going to get out of the swing, you have to get out of it before Claudio lifts you off the ground and starts doing it, right?
Yeah,
Jericho was mid swing. He crosses his fucking legs and does a victory roll and then stands up and does the fucking walls. It was a beautiful counter. I loved it.
would you say it's like an honorable mention right now, at least for your spot of the year? Because it sounds like it should
Yes.
be like in
Yes.
yeah.
100% yes.
Okay, cool. Cool. I might have to check that out, honestly. Um, but yeah, that's really cool. And you did start to mention Athena. I will be the first to say I am very happy for her.
Yes.
That she is ROH Women's Champion. Mercedes, I feel like was a pretty solid champion from what we saw of her. I don't know.
I
Maybe
mean,
the
dude,
ROH Women's
I
titles.
love Mercedes. I love the idea of Mercedes Martinez as ROH Women's Champion, but they didn't fucking do anything with it.
That sucks. Because I was even about to say, it seems like the ROH Women's title is building up some credibility just with the namesakes like that have held the title
Yeah.
between Mercedes and now Athena. But
Yeah,
you know,
like
maybe still
Mercedes.
with
Would you like to hear the list of names that Mercedes Martinez defended that title against since winning it in May?
sure.
Okay, on an episode of Dark Elevation, Trish Adora. On an episode of Dark Elevation, Hyan or Hyan, Hyan. Pronounce that how you want. On an episode of Dark Elevation, Maserati. On an episode of Dark, Viva Van. On Death Before Dishonor in July, Serena Deeb. And she literally hasn't defended it since July, and now she just lost it to Athena.
Apparently she was injured. Like I guess after July, obviously, because she did have that match. Um,
Well, why don't I? Yeah, she literally didn't wrestle at all from July 24th until November 16th. But still, you had almost a month to put her on TV and give her build towards this ROH Women's title match with Athena. And not only was Mercedes not on TV, but neither was fucking Athena. Athena was on Rampage one time, I think, in the last month.
oof. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Twice. It
Again,
was she
it's
had a match
twice.
against Danny Moe on November 30th, which literally who? And she had a match against Madison Rain a month ago on the 18th against Madison. Or I said Madison Rain already. But yeah, that's been Athena's build to this match, and Mercedes hasn't been on AEW television since July.
It's rough, man.
And the
And it
match
really
only went
goes, yeah.
13 minutes, too, which is a little on the short end for an ROH championship match.
Yeah. Damn, I wanted to get excited too. And I am excited because I think Athena can be a great champion, but like if that's kind of their mentality, I'm not really sold that they're going to do anything different now that Athena's champion that they weren't already doing when Mercedes was champion. So it's hard to really get riled up in a good way. You know what I mean? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
you've got this really
And
great
I
wrestler as
saw
the champion,
Reality
but
Creator in chat said they don't know why the crowd was booing Mercedes. It's probably for the reason that people turn on champions who don't defend the title all the time, and that's why. It's because she's held the title since May and has only defended it. Well, the last time she defended it was in July. It's been 5 months since Mercedes' last defense, and the crowd probably held that against her, and they were probably angry at her, even though it wasn't her fault.
yeah, yeah. No, I mean injuries suck,
Oh,
and I'm
plus
not
apparently it
gonna.
was in Texas, so that would be why they would cheer for Athena. But I'm just saying that's why they booed Mercedes too.
Right, right. Now injuries suck, and that was awful for Mercedes. I am glad she's back, and she is still a badass and totally awesome. It's just I don't know. Women's
Yeah,
wrestling, I feel like it could still be so hot. And I still feel like in some ways it's a hot commodity.
yeah,
When it gets time and
yeah.
properly presented.
Well,
It's
that's
just
my thing, right? I love Athena, and I'm very happy for her that she holds a championship right now. Hopefully, it's a championship that she is invested in and wants to, make a big deal and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, Mercedes wasn't the problem. Mercedes wasn't the reason that the title didn't have a lot of heat behind it in the first place. The problem wasn't the champion, the problem was the booking of the title.
yeah.
We run into this problem so often where a person will win a championship. Moose, I think, recently, as the Impact's world champion, is a great example. A person who's very talented, who's great at what they do, can win a title, and then be given absolute shit to work with. And
Yeah, it's
eventually,
always yeah.
people start to resent the champion because, oh, they're a shitty champion, even though the actual performer has nothing to do with why their reign has been bad in the first place.
Well, bro, in a way, right? This kind of goes back to that sidebar discussion in this episode that I was having with Javaris. Because he's like, oh, I'm just about done with Bailey. And it's like, well, you're not really done with Bailey. What you're really done with is Bailey's booking and her
Yeah,
presentation.
yeah,
And the same way, like, I feel like there are a lot of fans like Javaris, but up the stakes a little bit. And it's not just, I'm done with this one individual performer. It could be, I'm done with ROH's women's division.
yes.
And, like, that sucks, right? Because there are clearly talented workers in there, but it's not being booked right. Like, honestly, the more I get older, or I should say, the older I get, and the more I think about this stuff, the more I think that, like, obviously wrestlers work very hard and taking the bumps and all that stuff. They're assuming a lot of the risk, but like a lot of the responsibility does really fall on booking and the creative. Like, yes, you've got to be good at what you do in the ring and on the promo to really sell it, but the booking and the creative give you the framework that you're supposed to operate in. And if the framework is shit, what do you expect them to do? Like, I can go out and I can take the bumps and I can cut the promo and I can keep it to the bullet points or whatever. But if what you've given me is shit, unless I'm a transcendent performer, which we shouldn't expect every performer to be, I ain't turning this into chicken salad, right? It's just going to still be chicken shit. So I feel bad for those women because I think you really could have a solid division, especially if you're going to have a TV product. This will be another TV product headed by Tony Khan where women are marginal at best.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if that's going to change on Dynamite with Jamie Hayter as champion because, it seems like she's doing okay right now, but I don't want okay for Jamie Hayter. I don't want okay for Athena. They're so talented. We should be having conversations about them that WWE, to their credit, even if it was for their own PR and lining their own pockets, were making happen about Bianca and Sasha and Becky. Like, come on, AEW. Those are the conversations we should be having. And you shouldn't have to do it at a snail's pace because WWE already did the snail's pace. This is the new pace now. And like, if you're not going to keep up with it, then you look antiquated. and it's not a good look to me.
Yeah.
So I am a bit frustrated. I am actually a bit would be underselling it. I'm very frustrated. You've got very talented women. Start supporting them a little bit.
See, this is
I don't
kind
know.
of what I was afraid of for the longest time with AEW, is that we go from, oh man, this women's division is rough. They just have such a weak roster. They need so much more talent. And then they start signing talent, and it goes from, oh man, this division is so bad. They need so much more talent, to now where we're at is they have so much talent. Why don't they know how to use them?
Exactly. It's like don't sign them and then just stick them in catering. Have something for them, even if it is just a fucking squash match. And I mean a proper squash match, not one that you have your champion in and then Anna Jay takes them to like an 8-minute match, and it's
Ugh.
like what the fuck.
Yeah, that's what happened to Tony Storm right before she lost the title to Jamie Hayter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There you go. Um. So does that round out the final battle talk?
I think so. Yeah. Oh, I did see AR Fox had a really good performance in the tag match he had.
I'm so happy for
He
him.
and Blake Christian, I want to say, was his tag partner. Won their match actually.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Um. I will say, as far as like our next segment, as far as like the stuff outside of what we cover in the
Oh,
week or
I'm
what we're
sorry,
covering for
John.
them.
I just before we move on, there's one other thing. The Embassy
Yes.
won the 6-man tag titles, Ring of Honor.
Now the embassy consists of again.
That was it's Brian Cage. It's Prince Nana's faction. It's Brian
Oh, okay.
Cage,
Yeah.
Toa Leona or something like that, and Khan or Prince Khan or whatever it is.
Yeah, dude, that's awesome. Brian Cage is a champion, especially, and I really did seem to like the faction as a whole when they jumped. Who was it? Was it Moriarty at the time when he was facing oh God, what? Don't tell me. Jonathan Gresham. Jonathan Gresham, because I know Gresham like turned heel, and then he just kind of got dropped because the whole, talking back to Tony Khan sort of thing.
Yeah.
I like, yeah, the embassy was cool. I'm happy that they won the titles again. ROH has a lot of pieces together. Can you put it together when your TV show comes to fruition? I really fucking hope they do, dude. But I have my doubts, as you can understand. So we'll see. Um, so
That's
yeah,
it
I guess
for
beyond
Final
that,
Battle for me. Yeah.
yeah, so beyond that, guys, normally, again, for those of you that are new here, which I know Reality Creator seems to be because I haven't seen him on any chats before this, welcome, by the way, formally. We usually talk about the wrestling outside of what happened this week, just that we watched in our own time. I can tell you this is a week where I didn't get to watch anything. So I brought nothing to this banquet, unfortunately, and I apologize. Were you able to watch anything this week?
I what did I do this? I'm trying to think. I'm gonna just. Oh wait, no, no. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no.
That saves a lot of time then, so we can move on to high spots and low shots. Um, you know what? I'm gonna bookend this because we started with this discussion, and I'll kind of bring it back to this. My low shots Momo Kogo.
Yeah, that's
Does
fair.
she, just in the week of like what we watched in wrestling, we saw her eat the pin not once but twice because Peach Rock had 2 matches in a single tag league day. And then even on their final matchup, which they won thanks to Mayu, she still got kicked in the gut not once and twice. And then she got torn a new one in a backstage promo by Mayu. So it seems like Kogo, she's at a crossroads. And a decision is either going to be made by her or for her as it relates to her future in stars. Not good for Stardom's the good Peach, because we know that Momo Watanabe is the black
The
Peach. But
Peach
yeah, it's not
Star.
a good
She
time
calls
for Momo
herself the
Kogo.
Peach Star.
The Peach Star. Well, that Peach Star might be burning out. I don't know because she's something's got to
Mark makes a
give.
good point, by the way. Did we normally do Q&A before or
Oh,
after High Spots and Low Shots?
I'm jumping the fucking gun. See, I'm still getting used to some stuff, including that I intro on this. No, I guess we will
I
open it up to
I
questions.
take
Yeah.
partial blame for that because I just don't remember what order we do things in, and I'm like, oh, we're doing High Spots and Low Shots. We must do Q&A after that, and now it's like, no, wait, actually, no, that's just wrong. We do Q&A after or before High Spots, Low Shots.
Oh, this is a great question from Foster. If we're gonna just write about it. Although I will say, when we
So
return to
yeah,
High
just
Spots
to
and Low
be
Shots,
clear,
it'll
we
be
are now
Ashton.
opening the floor for Q&A.
Yes, but when we go back to Ice Spots Low Shots, I will lock in Momokogo and then Ashton will start, just so that I don't forget.
Yes.
But this is a great question from Foster because I've been thinking about this a lot since I saw it in the Discord. Thoughts on Suzuki's pending announcement? What do you think, man? I'm always curious to hear your opinion first
Oh,
on this
dude,
kind
I
of
have
stuff.
no opinion on this at all. I genuinely, I love Suzuki, but I really don't care what this announcement is going to be as long as it's not him retiring at Wrestle Kingdom 30 or 17. And even if it is, there's nothing I can do to change that. So like, I don't give. We've reached the point that anytime an announcement is announced in wrestling, I just fucking ignore it and wait until something actually happens.
That's yeah, that's understandable. I will say I'm going to tentatively say I don't think Suzuki's retiring. I think he's still competing at such a level and he's still getting the pops. Like he even said he wasn't going to walk away until that stopped. I still think his shit is over as fuck. And honestly, I don't know his finances, nor do I care to know. That's not my business. But if he's a financially responsible wrestler, cool. He can walk away anytime. If he's not, though, his shit's still good and he can get a few more paydays. So I don't think he's retiring. I do think though Suzuki Goon's probably going to get some kind of a shakeup, which cool because I want to be terrified of them again. Suzuki Goon for the last several years, and granted I could just kind of lump all of New Japan in with that, really has felt like they're kind of there. Like I want a Suzuki Goon with a Suzuki that feels like he can be the IWGP Heavyweight Champion if he just gets that one match for it. And God damn it, I still, until he says he's retiring, it is my hope that he is going to be the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, even if only for a month. You know, you gave it to Evil. Give Suzuki a fucking title run so that he can say he conquered all of wrestling in Japan. God damn it.
Foster said he
So
heard Jake Lee might join.
Jake Lee, why does that name sound familiar?
I want to say he's from All Japan, AJPW.
Hmm. I mean, new members are always interesting.
I'm pretty sure he is like the biggest rival of God, what's All Japan's ace's name, John? Remind me.
Fuck.
It's another K name. It's another K name. I just forget it.
Yeah, we know it's not Keno because that's Noah.
No.
K.
Someone's gonna say it in chat before I actually find it. I bet.
Yeah, I was
Kento
kind of
Kento Miyahara.
okay. Okay.
I'm pretty sure Jake Lee is one of his biggest rivals.
I mean, new members are always interesting. I know we kind of discussed in the Discord, and I think it was just mainly me and Foster. Um, that if it is kind of a repackaging, I've I've been open to Sabergoon for a long time. So if they wouldn't want to give Zack Sabre Jr. that rub, only
Dude,
because
we've been
as I
talking
said
about
to Foster,
Sabergoon for like 5, 6 years at this point.
I have so many things and none of them ever pan out. So again, rule of thumb to everybody: just don't listen to me. Like listen to me, obviously, because it's respectful, but don't internalize what I tell you, because it's probably wrong. Um, but yeah, I mean, New Japan still seems very high on Zach and so I'm always thinking like, is it time? But no, I don't think that's gonna happen. I still think it is Suzuki Gun. I just think it's gonna
Oh,
be a new
Foster's
member.
adorable. He said the logic says Sabergoon. The Alex in me says Desperado Goon.
Oh, Foster, why do I want to hug you all the time? God damn it, you enable both. If I don't get to hug you both, like at some point in my life, it was a life wasted. Fuck. Such adorableness, just right out of reach. Um, yeah, Desperado Goon. I honestly wouldn't mind that, low key. I fucks with Despy more than you might think, Foster. I would not mind that at all. Um,
Watch though, it's gonna be Taichi Goon. No one's gonna be happy.
all that douche. Oh God, I low-key have to respect it though, because then he's like, so what does characterize Taichi-gun? Well, I mean, I'm in the main event where I belong. I still don't respect women, and I'm going after the world title. All right, thanks. I just leave.
Yep.
God damn it! God damn it! Can't keep getting away with it. Uh, oh no, Waller won Sole Survivor for the men's. Fuck. Well, I did say he was going to be the next NXT champion at some point. I honestly didn't think it would take this long, but I am now going to say that I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Braun Breaker just so I get that in super fucking early. Um, Ashton, as long as it ain't Dookie Gun, that would just confuse me.
You said Dookie Goon.
God, what is this faction led by? A 5-year-old? No, I hate you with my Dookie Gun. Yeah, go in the fucking corner. Uh, oh God. Yeah, Mello apparently had Axiom pinned, but Waller took the fucking pin. God damn it.
Mello needs to get called the fuck up. Get this dude on the pull him up. Get him up here. Get him on Raw or SmackDown.
He's so much better than that roster. Why is he languishing there?
Imagine, if you will, Ricochet with charisma.
Oh my God, I'm about to transform, but I can't molt yet. We're still on the air. Anyway, what were we even talking about? Oh
We
yeah,
were answering
fucking.
questions. We did the whole thing about Suzuki. What is the next question that we're gonna get?
Yeah, because I
Abel
don't
wanted
really
us to talk
see
about
any.
Sasha Banks.
Well, friend, I feel like I talk a lot, so you can start the discussion on Sasha Banks. How do you
Okay,
feel about what's going on
so
with her?
this is 100% just the completely ignorant, blind optimist in me, but in my opinion, this big announcement that Sasha Banks' next appearance at a pro wrestling show will be in the crowd at Wrestle Kingdom 17, at the show that just so happens to feature the first ever defense of the first ever women's championship in fucking New Japan Pro Wrestling. And the first, I believe, the first in probably close to 30 years at this point, women's match at the Tokyo Dome, women's championship match, I should say, at the Tokyo Dome. I just can't shake this feeling that Kairi is going to retain against Tam, and then Sasha is going to challenge her, or I should say Mercedes maybe is going to challenge her for the title at some point for a future date. I don't know when.
You have no idea how big the squeak I just swallowed was hearing you get excited. But no, it's
Why'd you
gonna be a
swallow
fun
it?
time. Well, I guess nobody would have picked it up anyway with this noise gate on, but I would have done it right into the microphone, and in case it would have broken the sound barrier, that would just have been very
I mean,
rude.
I would have wanted to hear
So,
it. I mean, I've never heard anything break the sound barrier before. That would have been incredible.
you say that. But no, man, I don't want to get my hopes up, right? I'm in the same
Dude, I
boat as you.
know because it's like we've been burned so many times before, but at the same time, like this isn't like what I was talking about earlier. Like we're announcing an announcement. The announcement already happened. We know she's gonna be there. It's just a matter of if she fucking does anything or if she's just chilling in the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, look, Sasha can. Here's my honest opinion of Sasha Banks, and something good is coming, people, because I know normally when a sentence starts like that, it's never good. Um, she can do all the mainstream projects she wants, Mandalorian, Hollywood movie, if she ever gets casted, which she probably will. She really will always strike me as somebody that wrestling is her first love. Like if the offer is good because she knows what she's worth, as she should, and the roster is nice and she sees options, that's always going to be her first love, I feel like. And I think she sees what Bushiroad and New Japan and starting like everything that's happening on that side of the world with women. And given how much she's loved wrestling her whole life, she has to be a big fan of Joshi wrestling, I would imagine. I'd love to know what Sasha watches wrestling wise in her off time. Like, does she actively watch Stardom, this, that, and the other? And if she does, and I'm assuming she does, she has got to be fucking salivating, dude. Because, like, the options, right? And, dude, you and I have said repeatedly if Sasha makes a commitment and does even a year in stardom, I would like two at least, but I'm not going to be selfish. We get one, I'm thrilled. New Japan, excuse me, Stardom subscriptions, and maybe even New Japan subscriptions. If she sticks it to New Japan shows as like an IWGP champion, if she beats Kairi, if she even gets the match with Kairi, either way, this is just pure conjecture, obviously. Whether it's just New Japan shows or Stardom shows, those subscriptions are going up. And
Mm-hmm.
not only are they going up, I would still argue even
Skyrocketing.
on the New Japan side, skyrocketing. Yeah.
Dude, I'm
Like
telling you
it's
right
gonna be
now,
substantive. Yeah.
if a match is made and we get a date between Kylie and Sasha or Kylie and Mercedes, whatever month that match happens in, I could legitimately see the subscriptions for whatever service the live stream of the match would happen on. So I'm assuming New Japan World fucking doubling that month.
I agree. I agree whole fucking heartedly, dude. Like this is a huge fucking opportunity for Stardom and New Japan both. I really, let me just put it to you this way, bro. It's like an all-encompassing thing. This is a huge opportunity for Bushi Road because they own both companies. So, like, yeah, it's a huge opportunity for them. Like, to me, I look at Sasha, I look at how WWE treated her on the way out, and I am doing everything to sell her how our culture is different from WWE. And like the only thing going against them, because nothing's been finalized on the WWE side, and we're still hearing a lot of stuff. The only thing against them is that Triple H is now in charge. Because I'm telling you, dude, if it was Vince, I would call this a done deal. Personally, I would say it's
Well, and
over.
that's kind of my
Um,
thing too. Is like you're talking about a year or two in Stardom. In my mind, the most likely scenario for me as an optimist is Sasha and Triple H arrived in an agreement that she will come back, but she's allowed to work one match for New Japan against their IWGP champion, especially because it's Kairi and Vince or Triple H already has familiarity with her and knows that she's safe. So she will let them basically have a WWE match in New Japan for the IWGP Women's title that Kairi will retain because obviously Sasha's got to come back, and then Sasha will come back and work WWE and be under contract and get whatever the fuck she wants, basically.
I could see Sasha running the table like that, low key. Like, just imagine. I don't know, man. I something's got to give though, because here's the thing, dude. And you've mentioned this point, so this isn't like a me point. This is me expounding on a point you have made and you've been insistent on. They did a fucking like press release practically for the fact she's going to be in attendance. Normally, if it wasn't that big of a deal, you just pan the camera during the show, right?
Yes.
And it's like, oh, look who's watching. It's the Mercedes Fernando or whatever.
Well, and that's the other thing too, right? Is like not only is this a thing, but we've also got the fucking Jade Cargill Bow Wow thing going on in AEW, and there are places reporting that AEW would be willing to let Mercedes work in Japan. So then I'm like, wait, maybe she isn't with WWE. Maybe she is going to sign with AEW, and AEW's lawyers found a way to get her out of her WWE contract.
But see, can I just point something out though? The idea that like whether it's AEW or again, just I'm gonna say Bushiroad generally as a company potentially doing something with her, it shows how fucking over she is because she's still the conversation. When was the last time she even fucking wrestled? Like
May, maybe?
that's her power is insane.
Yeah.
Is my point.
Yeah.
Like that's why I'm saying when you've got power like that, that this is all conjecture. You and I both, to our credit, this is nothing against us. We have both said and repeatedly, this is conjecture. We don't know what's going to happen, but it is interesting. Just shows how over she is. If I'm her, I'm taking money from everybody. I'm doing my business. I'm having great matches, and then I'm setting up the next couple decades of my life, depending on how many zeros are on that fucking number. Like she's in a really, really good place right now. She is in a position, honestly, of power because people are talking about her. People want to see her. That's leverage. So whoever I'm going to, I'm leveraging that, and I'm bargaining for a sweet fucking deal.
Yeah.
Give me a Becky Lynch deal if she goes back to WWE. AEW, honestly with AEW, look, I'm not going to back down from my criticism just because she would go there. If I was her, I would be studying them and I'd be like, hey, I see you don't care about your women as much as you care about your men. If I'm here, that changes. Like, I want women to main event. I want to be in the main event. Your next big pay-per-view, I want a main event. And then I would love that because then MJF would throw a little bitch fit about it.
Yes.
If it's fucking New Japan, them I don't think she would have to go as hard, right? Because I do think the culture, obviously, if it's the women's, they're taking steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't have to go as hard. AEW though, no, you get them by the balls.
Yes.
And you get at least one pay-per-view main event guaranteed. At least
yearly. Once a year.
Yearly. Yeah. Once a
and
year.
you get to
Once
pick which one it is.
And you get to pick which one it is. No, and you know what? We laugh about it, but like you and I are definitely on the same page because you and I know that's what she would have to do to really get her value.
Oh my god,
as she deserves. Because like Tony Khan has coked out fucking money, ain't gonna figure it out.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be like, oh yeah, I get to main event one pay per view a year, and Tony's kind of like, fine, Revolution, fuck you.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and then Abel just mentioned Forbidden Door. And then Like that's another
I
possibility.
mean, if I remember
She
correctly,
has
this past year,
established.
didn't Forbidden Door happen like at the end of, was it June or May?
I thought it was June. I thought it was June.
It was. It was June 26th.
Okay, okay, good. So it was late June at that. Okay, okay. Um, I'm just kind of canvassing the chat here because I haven't looked at it in a while. I've been kind of tabbed out. Here's the thing, Foster, and see, this is why I'm glad I canvassed it because Javaris is like, my hopes are super duper ultra mega up. Javaris, I want to just say to you, man, I am ready for the hugs if this shit goes south. Okay, so you come to me, we will hug it out as long as you want. If
We
it
can all
doesn't work
hug.
out,
Group hug. TWitWoW
and
group
then if it does
hug.
work out,
I want
we're
to
still
hug
gonna
anyway, but
hug,
it's
but
going to be a happy hug instead of a
it's gonna be
therapeutic one.
it's gonna be an exuberant fucking hug.
Celebratory.
And Foster, here's the thing: if it doesn't happen, I'm not gonna be that heartbroken because I feel like even though I am getting carried away in the conversation, that's just because the conversation's been so good. I'm
Yeah.
still, as
Here's
far
the
as
thing.
expectations,
The
being very
only
tempered.
thing that Sasha Banks at this point could do that would break my heart is settle
Yeah.
for less again.
Yes.
If
Yes.
she settles, if she is like, well, I've gotten, my adventuring out of my system, so now I'm ready to go settle down again with WWE and be the fucking, second to Bianca and Charlotte and Ronda and Becky again. Like, that would not make me happy. I'd be very disappointed by that. I'd be depressed by that. Even if she goes to Hollywood, I'd be less disappointed by her going to Hollywood and finding success as an actress than I would be with her just settling and back into the role that she had before going on this leave in the first place. Because in my mind, she left because she was being undervalued. And for her to just come back and maybe take a little more money and just settle right back into the same role she was in before is it's such a negative message to all of the other women in that locker room and arguably all of the women in the wrestling world that this woman who finally decided to stand up for herself and walk out of the company that didn't value her enough settled back into it and accepted being undervalued. That's the only thing that could disappoint me.
I mean, you said that so perfectly. I've got nothing to add. I'm not going to tread on your point by, again, diluting it. I think you're 1,000% right. I think there's a lot riding on this for her, and at the risk of being hyperbolic, the state of women's wrestling. I think she could be the shot in the arm that it needs if she stays like in the American promotions.
I mean, dude,
And
like it's like a spectrum, right? Like that is the absolute lowest point of the spectrum. That is the absolute like rock bottom fucking can't go any lower, scraping the bottom of the barrel. Worst case scenario is she just settles, she goes back to WWE and continues putting over the chosen ones, right? Like that's worst case scenario here, right?
yeah,
Best case scenario though is she shows up at Wrestle Kingdom, she challenges Kairi to a match on a Stardom pay-per-view, like a fucking anniversary show later that month. And she actually signs the Bushiroad contract for a couple years, 2 years, like you said. And she's like a full-time Stardom wrestler at that point, and we just get to see her versus like fucking Hanan and Ruaka and fucking Hazuki and fucking Tomoka Inaba in random ass matches on 5 match card house shows for Stardom. That's best case scenario.
yeah. I want a full blooded Stardom run for sure.
Like yeah,
Like what you
like
just
she
did. Yeah.
doesn't even have to join a faction. She's a force in her own right. Let her just wrestle. Let her just fucking go there and wrestle. That's what she wants to do from what we understand.
Yeah. Dude, it needs to happen, man.
That's
Because,
that's
like,
that's
again,
my thing, right? Is like we would
yeah,
get the big pay-per-view matches. We would get Sasha versus Kairi at, fucking Dream Queendom 2 or whatever the fuck or what, Sasha versus Utami at, Queen Dream Cinderella or whatever the fuck. Dream matches are there. That's amazing. The thing that really like gives me like the butterflies in my stomach is the thought of Sasha being such a full-time Stardom wrestler that she's on those shitty little like Osaka like Eddie on Arena shows where it's like main evented by a 3-on-3 match between DDM and Oedo Tai, and Sasha is working like the second match on the card where she's like teaming with I don't know, Himeka or something to take on the team of like Karate Brave. Like little simple shit like that, where just the idea of her working this lower level show and just putting on a fun lower card match on a roster that's so stacked that even fun lower card matches are awesome. That's the shit that gets me like on cloud nine. You know what I mean?
Oh, dude. I mean, dude, because you know when you were talking, you know what match just kept flashing in my fucking head if she did a full-blooded Stardom run, her versus fucking Julia,
Oh my
and the fucking
god.
hype and the promos, because like, would Sasha start her own faction or would she join one? And if she would join one, like, she is a boss, and she, to me, she has hardcore DDM energy. But like, why would she join a faction? She's Sasha fucking Banks. She would start her own faction. And here's the thing:
But
two
you know what
years
though?
to
At the
me.
same time, I feel like if she were to go to Stardom, she would 100% be on her humble bullshit, and it wouldn't surprise me if she'd be willing to be in a faction with someone else as the leader, and then slowly over time, if we do the 2-year contract, they can tell a story where she splits the faction and she becomes the leader of her own faction, leading a few members of whatever faction she originally joined. I could see that happening.
God, I want to make such fucking grotesque Hannibal Lecter noises at the thought. It's so amazing.
Well, that's
I
my thing, right? If she shows up in Stardom, she's gonna get a fucking hero's welcome. If there were streamers, she'd get all of them, and like she's gonna be the biggest baby face in the world for the first few months. But it's still Sasha Banks, and we know how fucking good she's capable of being as a heel.
yes. Yes, dude. She could give so fucking much to that company. I mean, that being Stardom again. Like, the subscriptions, the fucking rubs that she
Yeah.
could give to the talents.
Yup.
Like, oh, the match of the year
Well, and
contenders,
we
her
know
versus
she's a
mine.
huge fucking weeb too, so maybe she'd even be able to help with translations if she gets good at the language.
And bro, here's the thing. This is gonna be a weird remark for me to make, and of course I've got to get my shit in. But like, she's really fucking good at selling and bumping too. So can you imagine how fucking good a match between her and Utami
I,
would be?
dude, I even
Like,
said her and Utami earlier. I mentioned it.
oh god, it's so, oh, delicious. Oh, I couldn't repress it. I couldn't repress it.
But there's also like there's a lot like we just talked about the two opposite ends of the spectrum. Everything else is in between.
Yeah,
Like there's a
yeah,
scenario where she basically does what I said. She signs with WWE, is allowed to work the one match with Kairi, loses to Kairi, puts over Japanese wrestling, puts over the women of Stardom, and then leaves, comes back to WWE, gets some main events, gets some championship runs, has a good time, puts on some great matches, all that stuff. That's fine. I'm cool with that. That's great. There's a scenario where she signs with AEW and they allow her to work Stardom on occasions, like in for big matches, and then they allow her to have the big IWGP Women's Championship challenge. She would challenge for it at Forbidden Door, whoever the champion might happen to be. Maybe that would be the big Utami match. You never know. That might be a thing come June. So like, there's a lot of different scenarios. We're just naming our favorites, and our obviously least favorite, number one least favorite, is the one where she just goes back to where she was before she sat out.
yes. You know what though? To switch gears a little bit because Foster and Abel both brought her up. What about Naomi? That was Abel's next
Dude,
question.
that's the big question to me. I really don't. I mean, I would love it for Naomi to come to Stardom with Sasha, but again, the whole idea of Sasha going to Stardom is that's I legitimately I feel like that's got a less than 1% chance of actually happening. Of her actually signing that Bushiroad contract. Like if we live in the multiverse, I feel like less than 1% of the universes in the multiverse actually end up in a place where that happens.
Yeah.
Which sucks because I'd love to see it. I'd
I'd
love
love
for
to see
us
that.
to
I mean,
live in one of those universes, but I just don't think it's very likely.
God, yeah, not to depress everyone and bring down the mood, but I look at Naomi. If she was to do a Stardom run, she has that aesthetic that just screams Tokyo Cyber Squad. I wish they were still a thing. I wish
Oh,
Hana was
now I'm
still. Yeah.
sad.
Well, that's why I said I wanted, but like that's what I
Stars.
think of,
She'd be in
right?
stars.
Stars would be great for. Oh, no, no, I don't know. Like,
She could
Mine might be
be
like,
she could be like Komomo's new partner, and they would actually win some matches together. But then Mayu could get her out of her hair.
yeah. Like, oh, I'll take her. Oh, thank you.
Because Komomo
And
actually
we could,
speaks pretty good English, so Komomo would be really good for Naomi coming into the Japan, coming into Japan for the first time.
yeah.
Komomo's English is
Uh,
like on the level of like Mina and Waka, like it's up there.
yeah, dude. Um, but with Naomi, to really give it like a serious, thoughtful answer, see, I'm selfish. Okay, I'm gonna start with
Oh,
that. That's not
the
probably the
fact that
best
you
way to
open
start.
with that, Jesus.
I know, I'm a horrible person. I'm sorry, everyone. I'm selfish. I don't want her to be done with wrestling. And like the funny thing is, now that it's Triple H in charge, I kind of don't even want her to be done with WWE because still in my mind, I wanted her and like she's married. She's married to Jay Uso, right? It's her and
Jimmy, I
Jay.
think Jimmy.
Oh, it's Jimmy. Okay, yeah, that fair enough. But like, I wanted her and her husband to hold gold together, and I still kind of wanted her as a heel in the Bloodline, to be quite honest. But you know, she's really good at what she does. But the important thing, of course, and we always keep this in mind, I did just want to say that yes, I am selfish. I'd like her to keep wrestling. However, I also do have a heart in here, and I do want her obviously to be happy. I don't know if like because I did see she did one runway. I don't know if she's done multiple runways if like modeling is a thing that she's been interested in and she's exploring that.
Yeah. Well, we know that
Because I know she
before
did.
wrestling, she was an NBA dancer. She was really good at that.
Yes. So like, I don't want Naomi to be done wrestling. I want her to keep going because I think she still has so much to give, both just in terms of
Dude,
like doing things on her own.
it's
More
funny you
championships
say
and stuff like
so
that.
much to give because in my mind, she still has so much to get. I feel like she's been perpetually
Yes.
underused in her career in WWE. She deserves so much more.
God, she really does. And like, I can't be like, oh, AEW, because we just had a whole thing about that. And it's like, no, they're not ready for her. It's not she's not ready for AEW. No, they're not ready for her. I don't even think they're ready for a lot of the women that they have on their roster, but that's a separate thing. Um, and yeah, I don't know, guy. You ask a very legitimate question. And I will say that I've probably even contributed to the erasure of Naomi in the broader discourse, and I do apologize for that because she is really talented and she's a wonderful human being. All I
I
can
feel
say
like
is
Naomi would bring something to stardom that we don't really have. Like, there are women in stardom who are very athletic relative to the rest of the roster, but Naomi is a level or two above that. Naomi, like, you look at your Kamitanis, your Hazukis, your Komomos, those are like the most athletic women on the stardom roster. Naomi blows them out of the water athleticism wise.
yes,
Like, I love
yes.
those women, and especially Kamitani and Hazuki, obviously, but they can't touch Naomi athletically. They are not anywhere close to on her level. Even if they are the top of their promotion, they're not at the same level as Naomi.
Yeah, yeah. No, Naomi, I think you really said it best. I loved your line that she still has a lot more to get just because of how underutilized she's
Yeah.
been. Naomi would be somebody, I'll tell you
I think
something.
in a
If
perfect
she,
world, a year from now, or like a year and a half from now, you would have Mercedes, I guess Varnado, Monet, I don't know what you want to call her, as either the World of Stardom or IWGP Women's Champion, and Naomi, or I guess Trinity would be a better way to refer to her since that is her real name, as the fucking Wonder of Stardom champion, or even the SWA champion. That would be amazing
I
too.
was thinking SWA title, dude. I was thinking
That'd be
SWA
incredible.
title
You
because
put that on her, she can defend it against fucking everyone.
exactly.
You
No,
could
I
give her
thought
a year
SWA,
long
yeah.
reign with that thing. You could have her break the record for number of defenses with that thing. Like, that would be amazing.
Yeah, and Morg makes an interesting point, and I think we should talk about this too, because he just said it would be very weird to me if Sasha or Naomi returned the other, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think it'd be weird for me too, only if they had talked first, and maybe Naomi tells Sasha, like, hey, sis, you go do you go shine like you can. I've got things that I want to do here away from wrestling, and that's
Yeah.
valid. But if Naomi wants to continue wrestling, I will say this: there's got to be solidarity there
Yeah.
because Naomi showed solidarity to Sasha because I'm 100% convinced she led that walkout,
Oh, yeah.
Sasha.
Yeah.
Um, so you got, and I'm not saying Sasha will or won't. This isn't like anything like that. I'm just saying generally, you've got to pay it forward. If Naomi still wants to wrestle and you've got a door open, you're like, hey, if you really want me, I'm willing to sign, but my friend's got to come too, and she's amazing. You're going to get more than your value out of her as well.
Yeah.
And especially because, dude, like we hated tag league this year. Imagine a tag league where Sasha and Naomi are in that tag league. Like they'd be the opposite of 7 Up because I obviously watch every starter match, but I'd be enthusiastically anticipating their fucking matches
Yeah.
against that whole roster. Like you could do stuff with her. So I will say, given that Naomi has been pretty marginal in the broader discussion about Sasha, and that is unfortunate. And again, I will admit that I've definitely contributed to that, and I apologize. I will say that Naomi does have so much value to give to any wrestling promotion if she still wants to wrestle. And that if she does, Sasha's got to pay it forward and take care of Naomi because Naomi took care of her and had her back when it was like, hey, we're walking out, we're making a statement. And it's like, okay, so go together. Because here's the thing, going together doesn't mean that either one of them is fettered to the other. Like you said, Sasha could still go and be the Wonder Champ, maybe even the World Champ if Stardom would want to go that far.
Right.
Naomi, I just keep going back to the SWA title.
Yeah.
And I think that is so fucking good for her.
Yeah.
You got options. But see, and then this is where I'm going to be a bit of a dick, not to Naomi, actually to New Japan. This whole Sasha discourse is the most excited I've been about Wrestle Kingdom. Because I'm like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do with her? Because I'd say beyond that, all I'm really excited for is Kairi Tam, which should be a fucking banger, and Jay White Okada, just because I love both guys. And I think, again, it'll be a fucking banger. But that's it. Those are the 3 selling points of Wrestle Kingdom to me. Main event, IWGP Women's, and Mercedes in attendance. So there you go.
That's fair,
All right,
man.
guys,
That's fair.
let's reopen the floor for questions because a
There
lot
was
of
a question that
conversations
we got I wanted to go back to. LA Knight went searching for Bray and encountered a masked man. I think it was just Uncle Howdy, honestly.
Well,
And I
Howdy.
just wanted to know.
Yeah.
It was Caster Sales that asked this. They wanted to know what our thoughts were.
Again, Caster, I'm enjoying it, and LA Knight as a character is actually doing his part pretty well. Um, I'm so worried about when the Wyatt Six actually gets unveiled, and if Bliss is a part of that faction, or whoever's going to be a part of it, that is a big, big weight to carry. And like, because if it's Bray by himself, I could watch that shit all day. And I'll admit that I'm behind. I told Ash before we went live, I did not watch SmackDown clips, but I'm gonna go back. And if Bray did a promo, I'm gonna watch it and I'm gonna keep my finger on the pulse. Once you get other people involved, though, they got to do their fucking load. They got to do their fucking part.
Yeah.
And that's made me a bit withdrawn because I'm sorry. I can only be truthful about how I
You
feel.
don't have to
I don't think
apologize,
Bliss is
King.
good. Yeah, but I should always be nicer in my criticism. Just because you have criticism doesn't mean you have to be a dick about it. But I just don't think Bliss is good. Like, I just don't think relative to the spot that she'd get, because you're thinking this is like a premier storyline in WWE.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if internally it was like the top 3 storylines there in the company. You're giving her this, do your fucking part. And I just don't think she ever really does. I think she does the best she can. I genuinely do believe that. But that's not good enough here. You either have to like up that and change that, or you have to decline it and give it to somebody else and not hog that spot and just be on it. But of course, nobody would do that because it's money on the table. So it depresses me. But I do think LA Knight's still doing a good job. And I'm just wondering again if a singles match between him and Bray is going to take place, and if so, when? Because I'm very curious about it. And like Ashton said, just to kind of touch on this and say this before anything else, if they do a singles match, it should 100% be a squash match. And Bray should just run through him. And the only reason it shouldn't be is if Bray is conflicted with himself. Because he said, if it was me that did this, there'd be none of him left. Does Bray give into that or not? That'd be the only narrative reason I'd excuse LA Knight getting offense, but you have to show it. You have to show Bray maybe looking a bit forlorn. You have to show him maybe going for a move and then pulling back. Because then that makes it okay. Because you create that opening. But if you're doing a straight up match and Bray's struggling and it's like, oh, LA Knight's competent, you're losing me. So they're still doing good stuff, but they got to get in that ring eventually. So we'll have to see what happens then. Let me scroll down to chat to the most recent stuff.
The next one I wanted to talk about was DBK. He said Jay suggested that Sammy trim his hair and beard for next week when Roman Reigns is back. It might be a big night for him. Any thoughts?
I think he's going to do it. If Jay made that suggestion, I think Sammy's 100% going to play ball. And if he doesn't, that'll be the quickest excommunication we've seen after an impeccable fucking War Games, because I don't see the bloodline tolerating that. Because in my mind, if Jay or anybody gives an order to somebody lower in the chain, it might as well be Roman giving that order,
Right.
right? So you're essentially saying no to Roman, therefore you're out. Because Roman, even after War Games, he still seemed just a tad distrustful. So you don't want to give him any probable cause.
Right.
So I think Sammy's going to play ball. I think he's going to trim it. I think we're going to see him in a nice suit. And I still think there might be some tension, possibly, but I don't think it'll be around that. What do you think?
No, I fully agree with you. I think he's going to as well. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Then DBK said, "What about Osprey Omega?" Oh no, I could not give a single shit about that, DBK. All due respect to you, if you're looking forward to it, I could not. I'm not in the mood for like, and I'm only saying this because you know that there's a possibility it might happen, even though I doubt it, and I'll be fair and I'll play nice. But like, these are two guys that I 100% think that they would think it would be a good idea to do a one count on a one winged angel. Like Osprey just
Oh
kicks out and he fires up,
God.
and then he does hit and blade for a one count and they jerk each other off in the ring. And like I'm not
That sounds about right, honestly. Holy shit.
I'm
Bro,
really in a
the
mood
fact that
today.
we're gonna be live reacting to Wrestle Kingdom, if we're watching that match and that shit actually happens, I'm gonna lose my fucking mind. And it's not gonna be in a bad way either. It's gonna be losing my mind because you called it.
Dude, you did say I'm in tune with douchebags, so I don't know, man.
Yeah. Oh man. Imagine having a superpower that nobody wants.
Am I more useless than Aquaman?
I thought Aquaman
but,
was your favorite hero.
self-aware, sir. but but no, DBK, again, if you're looking forward to it, you know, that's great. And I am being sincere because, like, I'm sure a lot of people are looking forward to it. For me, though, I just want to tell. I would tell Ocean Spray to eat my ass, but I've seen that mouth, and like, no, you don't get the privilege to eat my ass. So just stay away from me. Like, even if COVID was actually eradicated, which it's not, reminder, I would still want to maintain a social distance from that face. So fuck you, William. Yeah, see, this guy gets it. He's actually grounded
God,
and
it
emotionally
feels
stable, so his
so
opinion means
good
something.
sometimes when you're just right.
Dude. Honestly, I was already feeling aroused, and your tone communicated that perfectly. So we're doing
Yeah.
great. We're doing
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Oh my god, we have to get out of here soon because I am not going to be stable enough for this. What other questions did we have?
Oh man. I love
Would you
too
have
that when DBK asked about Osprey Omega, the first response to him was Javaris saying "fuck him."
just pictured Javaris counting his stacks while he's didn't even look up from the stacks because he didn't want to break the count. He's just like 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And he's like, what about Osprey Omega? Yeah, fuck him. 20, 40, 60. And just counting those fucking bills.
Oh, that
Abel,
is perfect.
Abel again. Would you have Bray in the Royal Rumble match? If so, would you book him? I would not personally. I would not. I know that's kind of a potentially a bold move. I wouldn't. I can see you're kind of turning up too. We're having a fun time. No, I, I would keep it together. God damn it! I wouldn't have him in the
Oh,
Rumble.
you almost got me to do my Seth Rogen laugh.
Oh
I'm gonna
no!
bust that out one day.
Oh god, it's like, but see, the thing is, I actually know you'll follow through. I'm still teasing the cluck squee if that ever
Yeah,
happens.
I've gotten to the point that I don't think that exists anymore.
I am gonna make it happen. God damn it! Just give me another 5 years.
Yeah, I
But no,
think
I
the
wouldn't have
first
him in
time
the
you
Rumble.
mentioned it was 5 years ago, so it'll be 10 at that point.
Yeah, well, yeah. Thanks for keeping count. Fuck, God. I wouldn't have him in the Rumble. No, I don't think that would be wise because here's the thing. If he's in the Rumble, my mind immediately goes to he's winning it. And then that's a double-edged sword, right? Because on one hand, good because you're keeping him strong, sure, which he
Wait, but
should
what if
be.
he just doesn't win it though?
Again, like I said about selling for LA Knight, you would need a narrative reason. Maybe Uncle Howdy
What if,
shows up on
I
the
was
screen
just
or
gonna
something.
say, what if the physical, actual Uncle Howdy shows up and it helps eliminate him?
I mean, that's fine. That's yeah, I could vibe with that because I still feel like the Mania match. I still feel like the Mania match is going to be Bray versus Uncle Howdy. So
God, he
That
really got
works.
a WrestleMania match for his brother, didn't he?
I mean, nepotism, man. I don't know what to tell you. We done knew. Suck it back in. No, suck it back in. One of us has to keep it together, and it's very clearly, no, suck it back in. It's clearly not going to be me right now that keeps it together.
Wow, you just threw a tantrum like a child.
Did, and you should have seen it coming. No better. I'm about to make weird fucking noises in the microphone. I will cancel the noise
Oh
gate right now.
no.
I will cancel the noise gate right now, and you will hear every noise emanating from my face.
As long as there's not music playing in the background, that would be okay.
No, I'm going to deprive everyone mainly so I can keep some semblance of sanity going on. Anyway, whoa, sir. Whoa. I'm going to need you to take it outside.
Why?
Were you relieving yourself?
No.
Or were you just exhaling?
I was just
Okay.
exhaling. What the hell? You think
Fuck.
I'm pissy?
Don't you get a tone with me, sir. You sounded like release
What
was
do you
happening of
think
some
this
kind.
is?
You don't want to answer that question. Anyway, let's look.
I mean,
And speaking of questions, okay, you know what? Mind your face right now.
Oh
You're
my
kind of out of
God.
line. No, everything is fine. Everything is fine.
It doesn't sound like it. Are you sure?
Please, would somebody come up with a fucking question or tell me you don't have any more so we can go to high spots, low shots, in which Ashton is going to start with his low shot because I already said that mine was Momokogo. Please, someone. Please.
You sound really
Oh my.
desperate,
Dude, I am spiraling and it is 60% your fault. Ugh.
I think it's time to move on to our high spots and low shots.
Yeah. Nobody submitted any questions, so doors closed. We're closed. Who's your low shot?
I think I am going to make my low shot Mercedes Martinez because she hasn't worked an AEW show since July, and the first one she works, she loses her title on.
Oh, actually, we have to go back again. So you said Mercedes as your low shot. Caster Sales actually did ask a question. Do you think John Cena is coming to SmackDown to announce that he will be part of the Raw? Wait. I need fucking context for this. Was it announced that John Cena was going to be on a future SmackDown?
Cena's going to be on SmackDown on the 30th of this month.
Yeah, I'm actually going to say yeah, Caster. Yeah, he'll do Rumble. Either that or he'll do another fucking match with Roman at Rumble, which I don't want because I want that to be the Kevin Owens spot. So, yeah, Cena for Rumble. What do you think?
Maybe. I don't know. I'm going to say tentatively, yeah, sure, for now.
How non-committal of your face. That was great. Great payoff.
I'm a really good politician. What can I say?
Wow. I hate that you're not even wrong. Fuck. Taking L's everywhere.
Oh,
anyway.
No.
Oh God. Okay. High spot. You know what?
What?
I'm gonna be a bit different with the high spot, but I'm in a good fucking mood. I've genuinely had a great time with you in our chat, so I'm in a great mood. I wanna end this on a high note. High spot, high note. Lady C.
Yeah.
Lady C is my high spot because she had a great fucking promo, and we are not giving up on her, goddammit.
No.
She is wonderful, and she can do things, and she can be pushed and handle the pressure, and she's talented, Stardom. And so is Himeka. You know what? Fantasy booking, because I always do a fantasy booking list for like each new year, and I never really make it public. I want Lady C and Himeka as a fucking tag team, even if only temporarily. Because like I like Lady C and Queen's Quest, but we've done like a fucking B and Jamie were a tag team, and Jamie was Oedo Tai and B was Queen's Quest until B defected. So yeah, I'd like Lady C and Himeka as a team. Two underutilized fucking queens just destroying everyone. I want it. So yeah, let's make it happen. Unless my Hime, of course, is really getting that push, because I know you said they have a match at Dream Queendom, number one contenders for the Goddesses belts.
Yes.
So we'll see. But either way, though, Lady C deserves a push of her own as well. So get on that, Stardom. So yeah, she's my high spot. Who's your high spot?
Let's see. My high spot's the BCC.
Oh, cool. Well, yeah, dude, they had a great night at Final Battle, so you actually have an amazing pick there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, even if it's complete nonsense, Regal did say he was BCC for life, so that could have been a moral upbeat for them. And Wheeler Yuta won back the pure title, and Claudio won back the ROH title. So yeah, lots of dubs for the BCC this week.
Yeah, it's kind of like they imitated your face. Anyway, that I think is our episode because I already did high spots. So yeah, um, this has been the week in the world of wrestling in review. This has been TwitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the video as you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we're to the top search result on YouTube for wrestling recaps. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. I encourage you all to subscribe and click the bell icon below so you don't miss any of that TwitWoW goodness because it's always a better experience when you are here. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Please follow us on Twitter and Twitch because we are the best in all the IWC. And we have nothing for Sunday. And Ashton, you made the new schedule, right? So that
It's
should
up.
be up. So I can,
It is up.
yeah, I could take a look at it. Yeah, he is so responsible. Everyone,
Yeah,
I
the
don't give him
next thing
enough
that we
credit.
have is going to be whatever the first day of the week is that isn't your family day, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Right. Yes. So Wednesday then, Wednesday the 14th then will be our Stardom December 10th Osaka show year-end tour day one, live reactions, and it'll be at 5 p.m. on Wednesday. So
Oh wait,
join
do
us
we
for
have it
that, everyone.
confirmed now that your family day's on Tuesday?
Yeah, because when I mentioned Tuesday, the family didn't seem to buck against it, so I'm assuming Tuesday. And
Okay.
honestly, even if they were to say Wednesday, I'm gonna be like, well, we're doing Tuesday this week because I already made a commitment to Ashton, and he matters too. So we're doing Tuesday.
Well, that's
So
nice.
that's happening. Um, so yeah, Wednesday at 5. See you all there. And I think that's it. And that's all I'm going to do is just the most recent thing. I'm not going to overload you guys. So until then, remember, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, keep loving wrestling wherever you find it if it makes you smile. Until we see each other again, tune in and peace out.